Live from Miami, Florida, and the planet of Arrakis. It's Friday night.
The spice must flow. Here she is. She's with us. It's so awesome to have you here.
I saw my lover in the trailer today.
He did, didn't
He's
you?
looking so good in that mechanical armour, I can tell you that. Baking my potatoes right now. Yeah.
Is he now? Is he now?
I hope I don't get no planter's warts from it.
That's a thing. That's a real thing. So Shirsha, I'm sure we're only going to have you for a limited time.
Who do you follow? Because I follow the rainbow.
What? Like Skittles? The rainbow like Skittles?
Well, to the pot of gold, of course.
Hi, Diddly Dee. An Irish person's life for me. Shirsha, before you go, what did you think of Star Trek Prodigy and Star Trek Lower Decks Season 2? Did you see the trailers for Comicon at home?
I'm not a fan of Star Trek because Timothy Chalamet isn't in it. And I like Dune because my sexy boyfriend's there. I couldn't care two craps about Star Trek. I think it's for virgins.
For virgins, really? Oh my goodness.
Same thing with Star Wars. Only the cool people like Dune.
Well, Shirsha, that's fine. I didn't know
Let
that.
the spice flow, baby.
What was your favorite part of the new Dune trailer drop that was out?
Me boyfriend, he told you.
Yes. But like anything other, like if you were to just concentrate for a second on anything other than your boyfriend, what would it be?
Well, I'm wondering where my gold is, but
Are you? I imagine it's in a Swiss bank.
I like that Jason Momoa too.
That's right.
Ain't he a big bag of delicious?
He plays Duncan, Idaho. Speaking of which, we have a brand called Duncan Potatoes, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
I eat potatoes raw because I'm a real Irishman. Oh, Irish woman. Oh, sorry. T. I sound like Mrs. Doubtfire now. No, Mrs. Doubtfire was Scottish, wasn't it?
I've updated
I gotta stop. I'm offending women and the Irish at the same time.
I've updated my way of saying things. Now I say Scots people and Irish people, and no one's corrected me. So I don't know if that's fine. But since it's more inclusive, I think, of all genders.
It's time to get woke, people.
Are there other men in the title of a nation? Do you know of any others? There's Englishmen, right? People will say just the English.
Everything's X now. English X.
The Scots X.
Womex. Man X.
Actually, you could just say the Irish, the Scots. Yeah, you don't have to say the people, but I guess Scots. I don't know. Tell us any Scotsmen out there. Geek and Review, are you watching?
It's not history anymore. It's X-story.
We prefer it to be called Scots. They. Nice. We don't identify with human people. That's excellent. That was the answer I was hoping for. Since Father's not here, he's watching the first episode of Masters of the Universe.
Everybody's
Revelation.
tempted to say He-Man too when they say it.
Yeah,
Like He-Man,
yeah,
and
it's like,
it's not that.
I think we should just start with. Oh no, he'll have watched episode 1 by the time he gets here. But PJ, non-spoilers, first impressions of the first 5 episodes of your impressions of the first 5 episodes.
Well, it definitely subverted some expectations. That's for sure.
Here he is.
It's unexpected. I don't know. I can't really say much because there's some big revelations in the first.
We're not
episode.
spoiling. We're not spoiling anything. Oh, but you don't have your thing
Where's
on.
this hat? I missed the hat.
What hat? Oh, that hat.
That hat.
The hat.
The hat. Yeah, there you go. All right, sorry. Continue.
I'm also wearing my hat, and so is PJ. We're all wearing hats today. You guys see my hat? You like my hat? It's a hair hat.
Oh, Now I'm not confused.
You know, the first couple times I was on the show, I thought you were joking, but then I actually put it together. I was like, he can possibly be. He is not joking about that.
No. It's a wig. Father, did you see Masters of the Universe Revelation episode 1?
I did. I watched the first episode.
All right, so we can all talk about it freely. Spoilers for episode 1. What did you all think?
Okay, I shall go first. It was fine. I just expected a little more. To me, it felt a little bit too much like Kevin Smith, which is, for me, in this example, it's a bad thing. I just found it to be, to steal a word from PJ, a little melodramatic. And to be honest, I fell asleep in some parts.
Oh,
So
no.
I was like,
You were just tired.
yeah,
I thought it was boring too. Until
Oh, you thought it was boring?
Until the last 5 minutes, it got interesting. I was really skeptical of the show for a while. Of like the first, like the action sequences just seemed to like kind of drag on and not really go anywhere. And I was like, oh man, this is like really, really, really like the old cartoon, like almost like too much like it. Like it felt like things were kind of just like inconsequential and not very interesting or exciting until like the last few minutes, and like that stuff, that ending with Tila actually made me intrigued to see what happens next. I was like, oh no, it's actually different than the old show. Like things are going to happen, things are going to change. So I'm kind of interested to see what happens next.
The one thing that I did like, I'm a huge fan of Sarah Michelle Gellar, so to hear her voice coming out of Tila, I thought was really cool.
I didn't even know it was her, but yeah, I'm a big Buffy fan, so that's really cool.
That's Buffy. Yeah.
I looked her up on IMDb earlier, and I did see that.
Is Mark
but-
Hamill Skeletor? That sounded like
Yes.
Mark Hamill.
Yeah.
That is Mark.
Yeah.
You didn't know that? That's awesome.
I don't know any of the casting. I don't know a single
let's-
thing. I just recognized his voice. I was like, oh, that sounds like Mark Hamill.
Sir Davros from Game of Thrones is Man at Arms.
Yeah, you can tell.
Lena,
Oh, cool.
Lena Headley is Evelyn, Cersei
Evelyn,
from
yeah.
Game of Thrones.
Wow. That
Sarah
is
Michelle
crazy.
Gellar is probably the only one I find who is grating and doesn't fit in with the rest of the cast.
Really?
Who does He-Man and Adam?
She has a high cutesy voice, and when you pair that with the physicality of Tila, it almost seems like Rosario Dawson would be better, because Rosario Dawson does the voice of Wonder Woman in Space Jam 2. And I was like, man, that fits really well. Like, and I almost pictured her doing the voice of Tila would fit much better, but that's just nitpicking. The voice
He-Man's
cast is generally very good.
Very good. He-Man's played by an actor named Chris Wood. And I don't know him
He's
from
the
anything.
boyfriend or husband of Melissa Benoist.
Oh, Supergirl.
Yeah, he was in Supergirl
cool.
as well.
And the Vampire
Who
Diaries.
Who did he play? in
Monel.
Supergirl.
Monel.
Oh, I didn't know that they were like dating in real life. That's interesting.
Yeah, no, they're actually married and they have a kid together.
Whoa.
Were they married before he was on the show?
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Well, good for her, I guess.
Kevin Conroy is the voice of Merman. So you have some Batman animated series alumni there as well.
Yeah.
Tony Todd is the voice of the other. Oh, I can't spoil it. It's
Oh
a
yeah,
char-
Yep.
It's a character that doesn't show up yet.
I don't care. Oh, well,
No, I know, but father's interested, so he might not want to know what happens next.
Yeah, I'm really curious. It's cool that they're bringing back all of like these shows I watched as like a little kid, are all coming back on Netflix, and they're all like incredibly faithful to like the '80s version, but also like really like well made. Like they're doing like the new Transformers. They're about to do like the season 3 Kingdom is about to come out. It's very faithful to the old Generation 1 Transformers. They also did Voltron a while back. I only watched like half of the first season, but I thought that was pretty high quality stuff with what they did with Voltron, what I saw of it.
Totally. I'm excited too. This was like I watched He-Man like pretty religiously as a kid, and don't remember anything. Like I couldn't tell you what like the stories were, or the plots, or anything like that. I just remember like all the action and things like that. So watching this, like oddly, and I think if it's okay with Geek and Review, we were talking about this on Twitter. He was like kind of uninterested and found it, I think, boring too, and didn't really get any of the references or anything like that. But I didn't remember half the characters, and I was still following along. I think the story is very basic, but in a good way. It's like very like it's without going too deep into the later episodes, but based on just you could tell just like the dialogue is kind of updated, but it's also still very like, you know, formal and medieval almost, like, and I think that's why I was a little surprised, Marcelo, that you said it felt like a Kevin Smith thing, because I guess I associate Kevin Smith with a lot quicker, you know, and a lot more wit that I thought he held back in this. And
It
like
does
maybe
have his
even,
humor.
like,
There's a little bit of his humor in there.
yeah, especially with Skeletor's one-liners and things like that.
But it felt
But
like the '80s show. It felt like when Orko showed up and was like Gat Cringer stuck in that bubble and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, this feels so much like stuff they would have done on the old '80s cartoon.
It's going to be really interesting to hear your thoughts if you continue liking the show, because all the characters do some things that I think are really interesting, and there's twists on them in a way which is very cool too. So far from, and we're only in part one. Part two hasn't come out yet.
I like the whole technology versus magic type of thing, and how Tila in this first episode is like, I'm done with your lies and your goddamn magic. It's like, I'm gonna go get me a PlayStation 5.
Also, it's kind of cool to see the repercussions of the lie of He-Man and Adam. It's very interesting to see that be the revelation. I guess that's the revelation, right? Like,
does somebody have a butane lighter that they're flicking?
Not I.
It sounds like the metal click of a butane lighter I'm hearing every so often.
Really? I heard that too, but I didn't know who it was. That's weird.
It's not me.
Is that you, Fathery?
No.
Yeah, he's gonna light his beard on fire.
Oh, don't do that.
Look what I can do. Oh, what have I done?
Oh, Marcelo, we're getting reports that your sound is a little bit low. And then OG Skywatch saying something about Thundercats and Arabian Nights. Were those? I remember Thundercats, but Arabian Nights, I don't remember that.
Arabian Nights.
Oh, like the song.
I don't know. I remember Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego.
What about what was it? Pirates
Where in the World
Pirates
is Carmen
of the Black
Sandiego. Carmen Sandiego.
That was the
That's
song,
on,
PJ,
that's on
because we had a
Paramount
different.
Plus.
We had a different
Carmen Sandiego show. It's on Paramount Plus. Or
Oh,
it was. I don't know if it still is. I watched like the first episode. I was like, oh man, this was some trash.
Oh,
There's a
cartoon.
There was a live action show. Then there was
a game show.
and then there was a 90s cartoon. I don't know anything about the new stuff, but the 90s cartoon had some pretty decent animation for the time.
Carmen Sandiego is a really good video game. The very first one that came out, it was like
I used to play the computer games.
Yeah, the computer game. I remember.
I played it on like the old black and white Macintosh. I had a Where in the World is Carmen Sandiego game.
Wow, I think then you played an older version than me, because I remember mine being on a PC and in color at my uncle's house. Cause
the one I played was from the 90s, and it's
Do I sound better?
Where the woman,
yeah, you sound better.
it's the one where the woman from the show actually is helping you out in videos. Like she pops up in a video and says, like, this is what your thing is. This is what you got to look for, and you got clues, and you had to piece all the clues together to figure out.
I like that the Rockapella song mentions Pakistan, because she ransacks Pakistan and runs a scam in Scandinavia. Do you guys remember the song "Where in the World is Carmen"?
I only remember do you remember the 90s cartoon version?
Yeah, I do remember that.
Where in the
But I didn't
world is
remember the
Carmen
song.
Sandiego?
But anyways, He-Man does.
Show.
He-Man did make me feel like a kid again. But of course, the animation's a little sexier, I would say, than the original He-Man. It's a little more. There's like shading and like like almost textures and stuff like that. So it woken new feelings for me watching it. It's a very sexy show. I think
Okay.
looking
Okay.
sexy looking show. Like everyone's so hot in it for an animated person, including Prince Adam. It's like it's insane. They're all like P90X people.
Didn't do anything for me in that department.
Nope, nothing for me
I
either.
like how they're drawn in Family Guy.
Hey, did y'all ever notice that the bad guy in Gummy Bears looks like Skeletor, except he has like a human face?
What?
So it's possible that the bad guy in Gummy Bears like somehow like burns his face off with acid and becomes Skeletor.
No way.
Do you know
They
there's
wear
a-
the exact same outfit.
the 2002 cartoon had actually included Skeletor's origin. It's pretty crazy stuff. You see him as a human, or with a human face, and at one point it's burned off, and then his master just like removes all the skin and just has him like just with the skull, and he's like I forget his original name, but he's like so and so is no longer, now he is Skeletor. And like he sees himself as like a skull head, and the first thing he does is like does that laugh. But I hear Joker in the new one a lot.
Yeah, this dude. Look at this dude. Tell me, like, if you burnt his face off down to the bone, he would become Skeletor.
Who is this? Oh, that
Is it-
guy. Yeah,
He's the bad guy in Gummy Bears.
Starfleet boys, show you can look up the way Skeletor looked as a human from the 2002
All right.
series, or before his face was taken away. He has the same like body like the, but when the dude transforms him, like it changes a few things, and like his skin is melting off at that point, and he just like it doesn't show it. It does like an off-camera thing, but when you see him
It's
again,
kind of
like,
the same character.
Yeah.
Look.
The first one though is more goofy.
Yeah, because Gummy Bears was an
Yeah.
exaggerated animation style.
The Gummy
that show
Bears.
sucked pretty bad, didn't it?
The Gummy Bears.
I remember the
solved all
theme
their
to this day, I think.
Yeah, they solved all their problems by drinking the gummy berry juice that made them bounce their asses off.
Oh my
They'd just start bouncing on the ground like their butts were made out of rubber.
That's right.
Like every time something bad happened, it's like, all right, they're about to bust out the juice and drink that shit.
Gummy
Worked
Bears
every time.
bouncing here and there and everywhere. High adventure that's beyond compare. They are the Gummy Bears.
I thought they were better than the Care Bears.
I think the Care Bears, yes, they were like they're more fun than the Care Bears, the Gummy Bears
The
were.
gummy bears suck, man.
No, I like them. I used to watch them. I can tell you again. I can tell this is like deep stuff for me. It's like way buried in my subconscious. Like, but I love it all.
I've never watched Gummy Bears.
Speaking of Skeletor, what does he look like? Let me see. I have a picture of him in the new one. Did you guys see that in the first episode? I like the extended introduction and how it has those like painting like almost like Boris Vallejo, like the painting of Skeletor's crew, and then the massive like
Oh yeah.
painting of like I love that. That was really cool.
Remember
That was-
Frank Langella as Skeletor?
Yes.
In,
Yeah.
1987 as
And Robert Duncan McNeil is in that movie, so there's a Star Trek connection.
Yeah.
That's right. I totally forgot that he's in that movie. Skeletor Netflix. Let me see. Here he is. Mark Hamill. I will just give a slight thing. I think he's awesome throughout the series. That's all I'll say. No spoilers.
Have you already
but
watched the entire thing?
I watched all 5. There's
I
only
watched-
5 episodes.
Yeah, I watched all 5. It doesn't take long to get through.
Didn't it
'Cause
just come
they're-
out today?
It did
Yeah.
come out today.
It's only
How the
5
hell do you have time
episodes
to
of a
do that?
22-minute show.
Oh, I had.
They
I
have
had-
no life.
No, I
Oh,
actually.
well, I started watching it. I watched 3 last night and then the other 2 earlier today. So I mean, it doesn't take up a lot of time. They're only little episodes. I mean,
Not
it's meant to be
intention-
watched in one chunk too. I mean, I couldn't just watch one and be done with it. I had to watch the rest.
I thought about like before I started watching the first episode. I thought about like watching one episode every like Saturday, just to stretch
That's
it out.
what I was gonna do too. I'm still gonna do it tomorrow morning. I'm gonna wake up and rewatch the first episode, and
It's
then
completely
watch it every
serialized
Saturday.
now. It's not. I couldn't do that. I mean, if they were releasing this week to week, I would be kind of annoyed. But that's the great thing about Netflix. They will put out certain like chunks of episodes. I mean, it's not a full season. They say this is part 1 or season 1, I guess. But I mean, they do have other episodes in down the pipe.
in the can.
In the
Again,
can.
without giving
Uh,
away any spoilers, for me, I
So
think
basically,
that-
I was just
Oh,
going to
go
say
ahead, sorry.
the first 5 episodes are basically the first part of a bigger kind of miniseries. It seems
Yeah.
because it's like once you get no spoilers for the end of 5. Once you get to the end of 5, you're like, oh, now shit's real. Now shit's getting real. Now it seems like the middle of a movie kind of thing where it's only now starting to get really, really interesting and good. And it was up until that point. Don't get me wrong. It's just fucking the show just throws you for a loop, I think. Yeah. And people are going to either hate that or love it, I think. I don't think there's going to be many people in the middle in regards to this series.
Oh, cool, Ruben. Did you see the first episode of Masters of the Universe Revelation? And then Ruben also says all that art from the '80s. Great little homage in the intro. Oh yeah, he must have seen it. That's cool.
I bet you he watched 10 minutes and he's like, good enough. I can judge the entire thing now.
Ruben, did you watch the whole thing? Did it keep your interest? Did you watch all the way through episode 5 of
Tila and the Masters of the Universe.
Tila.
Tila.
Did He-Man looks pretty amazing. So does Skeletor. I mean, look at the shading. Like that's what I love about the show is
Hey,
that
look at
it
those
has,
abs, dude.
Yeah, those guys are-
Dude does some crunches.
that's what I was saying. This like these people are like I don't know. Everyone's so fit in this universe. It's hard not
You see a bit of He-Man
to
butt cheek.
appreciate.
Did you remember the He-Man butt cheek?
I think I did.
When he first transforms, it like goes around his body and like his crotch area, and it like so
That was weird. That was like weird. They were that
very
showy.
very
with it.
subtly like while the thing's covering his junk shows like a bit of side ass or something. I was like, huh? Did I just see that? I was like,
To me,
okay.
that's an intentional homage to Joel Schumacher, probably, or something like that.
Joel
Uh,
Schumacher.
Oh my God, Joel
What would he have to?
Schumacher.
What would he have to do with this?
He should have made the Masters of the Universe movie.
I agree.
Could you imagine
not-
that?
It would be insane.
I mean,
Insanely great.
It's already suggestive. You know, like Skeletor in that movie is whipping Dolph Lundgren, He-Man at one point, and he's literally reacting like every time he gets whipped. He's like, like Frank Langella really buries himself in the part to a point where it's like oddly sexual. And Dolph Lundgren can't act for shit. He's like, let her go. I am He-Man. I am from Eternia. Like, that's literally what he sounds like. He sounds like a dullard.
Why are you a dullard?
Yeah, dullard, yeah.
Yeah, dullard. What did you guys think of like?
Look at those nipples.
Yes, let's look at.
You
Let's
could cut
examine.
glass with those things, man.
I mean, He-Man is like a complete like beast hunk of an Eternian here.
Do you think the carpet matches the drapes?
Yes, I do think so. Unless it
You know,
works
they
differently
all
on Eternia.
I noticed in Eternia all the men like are like Brazilian waxed and shit and all, you know.
Yeah, there's no. I would have liked to seen maybe there is chest hair underneath the harness and the plate,
Like little blonde strands.
Man at Arms surely has some chest hair, don't you think?
Yeah, he's got to have it.
Well, he's
for
Sir
sure.
Davros, of course he does. Now, see, it was so great to see He-Man and Battle Cat in action in that first episode.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, I see what's going on with this. And, you know, I won't say what happens in the show, but it goes in a direction I didn't expect, on a journey I didn't expect them to go. But I'm liking, like, the journey. I'm digging it still,
Well-
even though the two main characters I came to see are,
Fathery and Marcelo, since you guys have only seen episode 1, where do you guys see the show going based on what you've seen so far? Like, where do you see it headed?
I mean, I assumed that it would eventually reveal something with He-Man and Skeletor, that they're somewhere else, or I don't know. I just assumed it would circle.
What happens in their world when you die? You go to heaven or hell. So Eternia, or I forget what they call the hell version, but Eternia.
No,
there's a heaven.
Is this stuff you guys remember?
There's a heaven for people from Eternia, like an actual heaven place where you go. So
Father doesn't think they're dead.
They're dead, yeah. Like,
well, no, we can't.
Skeletor's in hell. Skeletor's in hell.
Is that the first episode?
And
is that the first episode? Does Father know that?
No, that's the lore.
Oh,
that's
it is the lore,
man.
Okay.
It's like, and the whole thing about Eternia being like the nexus of the universe. Like, if Eternia falls, basically all other realms are screwed.
Do we live? What realm does Earth? Do they ever establish that in the He-Man cartoons?
Yeah, Earth is just like another planet. Like you could technically like get on a spaceship and like drive over to Eternia.
Oh, is that right? I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they established that in the Christmas episode. Because like these Earth kids go to Eternia and they teach Orko about Jesus and I'm not making this up. It was I saw this in the actual
Christ is Lord, Jesus saves. Oh no, I have the power. Not this Jesus you speak of.
Yeah, I have no idea where the show is going to go, but I think just listen to this conversation right now that we're having.
It's so
about
not
it.
meant to be watched in one episode. It's like,
Yeah, I actually have to go back and watch it when I'm awake, because I was nodding off while watching this episode, and I was like, yeah, perhaps I should give it another proper go. So I think I'm going to do that.
yeah, it's not going to be.
That's some cool art right there.
Yeah, this is like the
pretty cool.
Boris Vallejo style. I love this, and yeah.
Do you know
for many reasons?
if you watch all 5 episodes sequentially, it's the equivalent of a 2-hour movie. So
Right.
that's why I watched I watched the first 3 and I was like, yeah, I'll check the rest out tomorrow. And the last 2 were just very easy to watch because I was so into what was happening. It goes by quick though. Like, I didn't find it dragged like other people are saying. Like, it's boring and stuff.
That's how the
I don't know.
Transformers cartoon was for me.
Oh yeah, I've never watched that one.
Oh, I found the full art from this. I'm sorry I can't give credit. I can't find the name of the artist, but if anyone who's watching this ever knows who this is, it's pretty cool artwork. Oh, maybe that we can see the signature on this one. Let's see. Copyright Warner Bros. No, I'm just kidding. But it's cool. You got the lightning bolt.
Wow,
stuff
they're almost doing the male version of scissoring there. It looks like their wieners are literally touching.
There's like a lot of fur, PJ, that's like cushioning that experience.
Ha ha ha! Mine is bigger, He-Man.
Who has
the
it?
master of the universe now?
Who do you guys think would have the bigger one? That's a really good Skeletor, by the way. Who would have?
I love in
bigger...
Masters of the Universe 1987 when Skeletor gets the sword and he's like, by the power of Gayskull and whatever, and he gets the He-Man power, and he's adorned in this ridiculous gold outfit. I don't know if you can bring it up at some point, but like the golden Skeletor.
Let me find
after he becomes master of the universe, he literally accomplishes his goal. The villain wins in that movie. He becomes master of the universe. No, spoilers for 1987's Masters of the Universe.
I think I found it. That movie is wild. Who directed that again? I feel like it was someone famous.
Oh
Is this
my
the one
God.
you're talking about, right? That's the
Yeah.
outfit.
That looks ridiculous.
Wait, there's like I think there's a better.
You can see the felt on his nostrils and everything. It's supposed to be like represent depth, like it's hollow, but every time there's a close up, you can see the felt.
He's scary looking though, Skeletor in the movie.
He looks like a poor man's version of like Zed from the Power Rangers.
Goldar meets Zed.
Yeah.
Here's a toy, which He-Man was made all to sell toys.
That's right. That's like that's
Yeah,
why
the
they
show
like
is
have-
such a marketing ploy, man.
It was invented. Is there a new toy line that's coming out with this Netflix show? Do you think, or do you know?
Oh, definitely. Yeah, I would say.
Would you guys get the? I'm gonna get Prince Adam
No.
/ He-Man for sure. He'll be right here in front of me.
Nope.
What do you think of? I caught parallels to like that kind of legend thing of Skeletor and He-Man. I feel like there's like a kind of a Loki Thor thing, or maybe I'm just influenced now by by the MCU too much. Everything's everything.
Speaking of Kevin Smith, Clerks 3 is going to start shooting next month.
Yes,
Can I read you the synopsis?
yes. Valerie, are you a fan of Clerks?
I like the first one a lot, and the second one I remember thinking it wasn't as good, but it's still pretty good. But in general, I'm a Kevin Smith fan. I like most of his
Nice.
movies.
All right, here. Let's hear the synopsis, PJ.
Well, basically, Randall, the character of Randall, has a heart attack. And he wants his friends to make a movie of his life at the Quick Stop. So it's basically them making Clerks. The characters from the original Clerks making
Oh,
a
that's crazy.
Clerks-like movie. And that wasn't the original script. The original idea was Randall was gonna fall in love. Like it was gonna mirror Dante's story in part 2, where like he's gonna fall in love and move on. But after Kevin Smith had his heart attack, he changed it to incorporate the heart attack into Randall's story, because Randall is originally based on him anyway, right?
I totally.
He was supposed to play Randall, but he said it was too hard to direct the movie and try to memorize the dialogue, so that's why he did Silent Bob instead.
And the characters, what's the dude from Clerks 2, the new guy? Pillow Pants guy. Lister Fiend dude. He's going to be in it again. And
There's Virgil and
Dante.
Rosario. The most important thing is that Rosario Dawson's returning.
Randall and Dante, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you
Rosario Dawson is returning, and they apparently now her and Dante have a 16-year-old child, because she was pregnant at the end of Clerks 2, right?
Yeah. I think she
No,
was,
wait.
right?
Yeah, 16-year. Yeah, they would have a 16-year-old kid at this point.
Mm.
Do you think the film's gonna be in black and white or color?
No, it's definitely
Wasn't-
going to be color.
Yeah, it was in part 2. Part 2 was color, right?
Part 2 is color, yeah.
It started out in black and white and then shifted to color, and then at the end of Clerks 2, it shifted back to black and white,
Black and white.
indicating that they may do the third one all in black and white again. They could possibly do that. It hasn't been said either way, so it's a possibility. So
That would be
I would
good.
love it. He did such a good job. I mean, it was out of necessity, I guess, but part of what I thought was amazing about the first Clerks film is that it felt, when it was released and I saw it in the theater, it felt like one of the most contemporary films I'd ever seen, but it had like the black and white gave it this like timeless, like even a documentary quality that I
well,
loved.
it was the cheapest film they could get anyway.
Yeah, it's true.
By the way, Elias is the name of the guy, the new character in Clerks 2 that is coming
Elias.
back. I love that you haven't seen that actor in anything else. He's literally only been in Clerks 2, I
In
think.
Clerks.
But it's clearly based on Kevin Smith's real experience with the heart attack that he's talked about a lot in recent years.
I just said that.
That's the that's. Oh,
You were on
Did
your
you?
phone.
I wasn't.
I saw he
I
was
was
on
just
his-
talking about that very thing.
Yeah,
He changed this.
I
He
was,
changed the story because he had a heart attack.
yeah.
It-
No,
Well,
well,
the original story for Clerks 3, like he borrowed some of that for the Jay and Silent Bob reboot. Like that opening at the beginning.
Oh yeah, with the cocksmoker.
Yeah, that was supposed to be that was out of his Clerks 3 script. And then some of the stuff where like Silent Bob becomes Iron Man at the end, that was supposed to be from Mallrats 2,
Yeah.
which I think he says he's going to do after Clerks 3. He's going to do Mallrats 2.
Oh wow.
And the version of Clerks 3 before this one was Randall and dealing with Randall in a relationship. And Jeff Anderson, who plays Randall, has seen like a couple of different versions of Clerks 3 and has never really wanted to come back for it. But I think the whole Kevin Smith has this running joke about since he's had the heart attack, nobody says no to him out of guilt. Like, you know what I mean? Like, he can pretty much ask anything now because of the heart attack. He'll like, I'll guilt them with it.
He even got Ben Affleck to come back to him.
Yeah.
yeah.
And now that Randall is playing the part of Kevin Smith after the heart attack thing, not like a literal autobiography thing, but like, yeah, it's very much influenced by. I can see Randall the character like have a change of heart, like not be he could becomes a different person after the heart attack or something. You know, where he's so prickly and he's such an ass.
Not such an
He's
asshole.
He's such a contrarian and he just loves antagonizing people. It'd be interesting, like he's really ripping on some dude, like you know how he did with Lord of the Rings and shit. And like all of a sudden he has the massive heart attack. It's kind of like a karma thing, and afterwards he's like all nice and shit. I don't know. They could do a lot.
Yeah.
They could fuck it up. I don't want them to fuck it up because the first two are so good. They're literally classics.
Yeah.
And
Matt
I
Damon
re-
was a new addition for Dogma, right? Like to the kind of regular, like he wasn't in any of Kevin Smith's other movies. It was
He's in Jay and Silent
he-
Bob reboot.
Oh, okay.
well,
he-
he's Dogma was
Isn't
the
he a
first
Jersey
one he
Girl
was in.
too? Isn't he?
Wait, what was
Jersey
that?
Girl.
Yeah, isn't he in Jersey Girl too? for
Oh,
like a
is he?
quick
I haven't
second?
seen it.
He
Jersey Girl doesn't count.
All right.
I think the first one was Dogma though.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that was
And
his
then,
first one.
and then the next one he was in was Jade and Silent Bob Strike Back.
Oh, Geek says he was in Chasing Amy briefly, so I didn't realize that.
Oh, no.
Yeah, Casey Affleck is also in Chasing Amy.
Oh, I don't remember either of them showing up. I just watched that like a year ago. I watched it again, and I didn't see either of them.
Yeah, well, Casey Affleck is definitely in. I can't remember Matt Damon though. I can't remember.
Yeah, wasn't he one of the executives that was trying to convince Holden and what's his friend's name? Oh my God, what's his?
Okay,
friend's
yeah,
name?
he is briefly in a scene with the guy who plays Dante in Clerks. Yeah. There's a picture of it. Yeah.
All those early movies, they had like the same. You had like the like kind of like the normal dude friend, and then he had like an asshole buddy, like Randall, Brody, and then who was Holden's comic book partner in Chasing Amy? What was that dude's name?
I have to look it up.
He's played by the same dude who played Brody. My name is
Jason
Earl
Lee.
guy. Jason
Jason
Lee.
Mewes. Oh, Jason Lee, not Mewes.
Yeah, he's
Jason Lee.
Banky.
Banky. Yeah, okay. Banky, Brody, and Randall are basically like all three the same character.
Oh yeah, and the two from and Jason Lee in Mallrats as well.
Yeah, that's Brody.
Yeah, that's Brody and Banky are basically the same, aren't they? Yeah, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
And Randall.
I know it's a different actor, but like as like I feel like Kevin Smith's like asshole, like his like asshole smartass side of himself, like he doesn't
comes out in these characters.
yeah, like he put that side of himself into those characters. And then like his like nice guy sensitive side, it's always like the dude that they're teamed up with. Like Dante or Holden.
Yeah. That is true.
Geek in
Yeah.
Review says he was in Chasing Amy briefly. I'm joking. He's talking about Matt Damon. Is everyone caught up on Superman and Lois?
Fathery is not, but we could talk about where did you leave off, Fathery?
I haven't seen since they did like that 2-week hiatus, and then I don't know how many episodes they've had since then.
Oh yeah, you're like before all the stuff happens.
I don't have time to like watch these shows.
It's funny because I expect you to watch them because that show is so good. I think you're gonna love it. But it's good anytime you do catch up. You're gonna love it. I think it's holding up its streak of goodness is all I'll say. Clark and Superman are among the best depictions. Like it's hard for me to like, without giving spoilers, I'll just say that like it holds up. You know how you were so hype about it, and you were talking about how much you like the depiction of Superman and Clark in the show. It just gets better and better in my opinion. I think you'll appreciate it.
I gotta catch up on the most recent episode of Superman and Lois, and I have to catch up on the Flash. I haven't done that yet.
I will give one spoiler. It was amazing when Dean Cain did his cameo in the most recent. No, I'm just kidding.
Why would anybody hire Dean Cain? At this point
They
in his
wouldn't do it.
career?
They
know, that's
killed
why.
him. They
He is
killed
such
him
a- he is
off
such
on
a prick.
Supergirl off screen. they basically had like his character die off screen on Supergirl.
I didn't even know he was in Supergirl.
Yeah, he was like her adoptive Earth dad.
Oh
the-
yes, yeah.
And, like
yeah.
a couple years ago, they were just like, "Oh, by the way, Carrie, your dad died, and we're having a
the
funeral
'80s
for him."
Supergirl is her mother, right?
Yeah, Helen
That's
Slater.
right.
Yeah.
Who's
Who
a-
can't act for shit.
I thought she was a good Supergirl
Oh,
back in
she-
the '80s.
She is one
movie's
of the
not
worst
good.
actors. Like any, and when she showed up for the first time in Supergirl, I was like, "Wow, no wonder this woman never got work." She's in an episode of Seinfeld where she's actually decent, but everything else you've seen her in, and even in Supergirl, she's fucking terrible. I mean, she's almost as bad as Faye Dunaway, and Faye Dunaway's a good actor.
I don't think that Supergirl movie is a good movie, but I always liked her as Supergirl, and I thought they out of that era of Superman movies, they actually do really good job with like the practical flying effects and some of the wire work with Supergirl. I don't know why that was the one where like they really cracked the code, but it looks
look-
really good.
The look of Supergirl and like her physicality and her just like her face is perfect. I loved her as a kid, and I loved that movie. And then, what was it like? I don't know, like 10 years. Well, I was an adult. I just like young adult, maybe in my early 20s, and I watched it again after not seeing it for a long time. Forgot Peter O'Toole was in it, and all of this, and I was like, oh my god, this movie's fucking terrible. Like this movie's like one of the worst
I gotta rewatch
pieces of
it.
garbage, but yes, it does have some great practical stuff, practical effects. Although it doesn't make any sense how she can like walk by a tree and suddenly like she has these weird powers that don't make any sense. It's anyway, we could go on and on about
Well,
Supergirl. I'd
The
love to do a
Christopher Reeve
commentary on that.
movies, the Christopher Reeve movies always had like weird powers show
No, but
up.
this,
so-
I mean, this took it to an extreme.
The bricks,
Like the mega dextra hextron thing, whatever it's called. Oh god! And the beast monster that like stretches her out. Like, you remember that part where at the end
I
where
remember
the
that
thing picks
scene.
her up and like stretches her, and it's literally just like the film being stretched or something. It's fucking.
Geek and Review asks, do you think in Superman and Lois they write the family stuff first and the action stuff second? I can tell you from the featurette that I saw on iTunes that the creators of the show want it to be where you could take out all the superhero stuff and still have a compelling show. So I think the answer is yes. They write the story of the family and then they figure out the rest, and it's fantastic.
Wouldn't it be funny if if it was all from the family's perspective, so you never actually got the Superman action. You just had them like waiting around for him to come back, like they actually do in a couple episodes where they're like literally sitting around like, well, we can't contact him. He's at the fortress or whatever. We just gotta wait, hope for the best. It's like literally just waiting for Superman to finish what he's doing, and it's just him flying back every time.
I think it would have.
Explaining, I did this and this and that, and it's like, oh, cool. We just saved $4 million for the whole season.
That sounds like a great idea for a one-person show from Lois Lane's perspective. So, like, whenever Superman goes off, she's like, we get her monologue. You know, like
Just call it Lois.
Yeah, it's just we called Lois. And then it's like, did you guys ever see? I never saw it in person, but Patrick Stewart did a one-person version of A Christmas Carol, which is supposed to be like really amazing.
I heard about that, but I didn't see it.
And Marcelo, where'd you leave off on Superman and Lois?
I'm one episode behind.
Oh, okay, only one episode behind. So
you
so
didn't
far
see
you're
the
enjoying
one where Jonathan his son gets like put in the wood chipper,
yeah.
Yeah.
like at the end of Fargo. Spoilers.
If somebody gets within a wood chip, I really want to see it now.
Is that your friend there in the wood chipper?
What else? Snake Eyes was this week. Anyone saw Snake Eyes? No.
No.
I'd rather get my eyes bitten by a snake.
I'll see it when it hits Paramount Plus.
It is going to, right? It's.
I wouldn't watch it for free. I wouldn't.
Oh,
I mean, G.I. Joe movies. Who gives a rat's ass?
I liked that second one. That second one the critics hated. I actually thought that was like a much better G.I. Joe movie than the first one.
What was it called?
And it was Retaliation.
Retaliation.
And it was decent because it had The Rock in it and Bruce.
Yeah, he
Willis
was
shows up.
Roadblock.
Channing Tatum's in it.
There's some good action in the second one. I have to admit, there's actually some
Ray
good
Park.
practical action.
And
The problem with the first one is that there's so much CGI bullshit that you don't believe in anything that's going on.
The
second
accelerator
one-
suits.
Yeah,
Remember
the
that,
second
Patrick?
the second one is slightly more grounded, more practical, and then this third one apparently has the worst fucking shaky cam. I've heard it from multiple places that like the camera work is god awful, and if there's any kind of fight choreography going on, you really don't see it. But I don't know. I mean, Henry Golding, I like him. And the other actors, like the dude who plays Sub-Zero in Mortal Kombat, is in it.
Yeah, that's the good G.I. Joe movie. Even though,
You
like,
just want to
critics
show.
gave it,
You
like, a
always gotta
40.
show a shirtless dude.
Oh, sorry.
With some abs and that
Did that
V
happen?
thing. That V thing. That V
I didn't
thing
know.
that-
I don't
with
know.
the-
I
with
don't
the-
even know who. I don't even know who this actor is. I have no idea. Is that a famous actor? Here, I just covered him up. He's decent. now.
Zoom in on the nipples. I know you want to.
This is as close as I can get.
It always turns into this, doesn't it?
No.
Objectifying men. It's wrong, damn it. It's wrong.
And it also had Bruce Willis in it. And
As
Cobra
G.I. Joe.
Commander actually acted like Cobra Commander.
Oh, really?
That's Peter.
Yeah.
Peter Doctor Who was.
Capaldi.
Wasn't he?
Yeah.
Wasn't he in Retaliation? But Bruce Willis played the actual G.I. Joe, like the OG.
Oh, that's awesome. I guess
but
Bruce
I
Willis
see it.
sucks, by the way. I don't really like him as an actor anymore, but yeah.
Christopher Eccleston was in the first.
He was Destro.
Yeah, and the
Oh, yeah, you're right. I do remember that. That's crazy. That's funny. They play good villains. Here
G.I. Joe.
you go,
Retaliation.
guys. This is a palate cleanser from all the abs. Do you feel better now, PJ? It's Tila. Going back to He-Man.
That's a really weird proportioned
Yeah, really.
Tila.
painting.
Like her legs are bigger than the rest of her body.
I
Yeah.
feel like this version of Tila looks like Lucille Ball for some reason to me.
Exactly.
Yeah, I feel like it was painted by some dude who was like really into thick thighs, and that was like all he cared about.
Yeah.
I mean, thick thighs are beautiful, but
He-
all right,
he,
here.
like, he likes his thighs like he likes his milkshakes thick as fuck.
Thick
You
as
gotta
fuck.
eat that shit with a spoon. You can't do it with a straw, baby.
I think this is the original Tila from the He-Man cartoons.
It's terrible. It's like
Right here.
it's like Wonder Woman and Lucille Ball in a transporter accident.
Whoa, that sound is awesome and bassy. What is that? What's happening there?
It's V'ger.
It's
Like,
V'ger.
brang, brang, brang.
And this
So,
is
yeah.
Cringer. He's a pussy. He-Man. I
On
love
the
that filmation
muscles
thing that
of
comes
the
up at the beginning,
universe.
where it's like ding. I love that sound. I love the sound of that 80s. It's two sound effects. It's the ting, which you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
And then there's the one where it's like it's like that, but it's like a sword being unsheathed. And so it's like shing. If you
Alright,
you know what I'm
here.
talking about? I can never
That's
find
better.
that fucking sound effect.
This is a Sideshow collectible version of Tila. Better proportions, I think.
Yeah, way better.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Objectifying women now.
It's not
To
objectifying.
make
I'm
up for the
showing-
objectifying of men.
I'm just showing. I'm trying to be an equal opportunity. Like
You're
I'm trying
showing
to show-
a literal object created in the shape of a woman.
It's true. That's true. This is objectification. You're actually right. All right, I'm cutting.
It is
that.
actually very detailed and well done. I like those knees. The knees look realistic.
They look real. Yeah.
Yeah, I bet you she's got some power with those legs, man. I bet she can squeeze somebody. Sorry.
Like the villain from Goldeneye.
Yeah, right. Yeah,
Oh yeah,
Uh,
Famke, whatever.
Famke
the
Janssen.
Dutch lady,
yeah.
who was also in Star Trek and X-Men.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh, there's like
Yeah,
an
but-
Egyptian kind of variant Tila that's cool too. I'm not gonna put it up on screen anymore because you guys will say I'm objectifying. So that's it. That party's over.
Tila and the
Tila.
masters of the universe. Tila.
Yeah. So are we gonna talk about it or what?
About what?
Talk about what?
The
You
panel?
know,
We talked
the
about
panel.
it so much, but I want to hear. I haven't heard anything about what you think of
Uh.
it. So you should lead the discussion on the panels.
Yeah.
Um,
what was the Marcello perspective?
Yeah, the Marcelo perspective.
I really enjoyed the Lower Decks panel, but the Star Trek Prodigy panel
Boring,
was
yeah.
boring. It was fine. I really like the trailer though. I'm really intrigued to see how the characters play off of one another once we get to the series. But my main point of disappointment came from the fact that I really wanted to see something from Strange New Worlds, but the fact that we didn't get anything really made me upset.
And then see, I don't understand that personally because there was never anything scheduled.
Right.
It was
That-
literally
yeah,
only going to be the animation. Actually, I looked up not only the Trek schedule on it, but just the general schedule for like everything. Trying to see if like there was some live action Trek in there somewhere, but it was only the animated stuff. So I knew they weren't going to show anything, but there was like in the back of my mind, I was like, maybe they might drop a teaser or something. You know what I mean? But I said earlier they might save it for Star Trek Las Vegas, and then Fathery came in and rained on that parade and said, no, you're going to have to wait till September 8th, Star Trek Day. I'm like, dude, you're going to Vegas. Don't you want to see all that shit? No, I don't know. Who knows? I hope
Or
they
they
do
might
it
just-
with Vegas. But
They
they
might
don't
just
need-
randomly release it someday, like on its own. They do that sometimes.
Yeah, I mean, like what did you say earlier about they don't have an affiliation with CBS anymore? Like,
Yeah, so it's not an official CBS Viacom convention anymore. It's just
Okay.
creation doing its own thing. You know, they're able to like, you know, invite those Star Trek actors to come like appear on their own, but it's not an official licensed CBS Viacom event anymore. Because the big official convention now is going to be the Star Trek Mission convention starting next year in Chicago.
Oh,
Okay.
oh.
So
Well, I
William
don't know.
Shatner, Kelsey Grammer, and Sonequa Martin Green are the ones I'm aware are going to be there.
A lot of people
in
are
Las
going to be
Vegas.
there.
Yeah, it's like a big list, but the ones that I remember, like William Shatner's a big one, but Kelsey Grammer for the first time is going to be there. It's going to be as exciting as Joe Piscopo. No, not really, but
Well, yeah, I feel like that's insane that Kelsey Grammer's gonna be at a Star Trek convention for the first time ever.
Who did-
It's nuts.
Who did
I didn't realize
Kelsey
this is
Grammer-
first.
who
It's
did
not.
Kelsey-
Oh, okay.
he played the
He-
captain at the end of Cause and Effect.
Yeah, the captain
USS
of the Bozeman.
Okay, the Bozeman. I do have something to say, but I don't want to say it on the air if it doesn't happen. But I totally forgot to mention this off the air.
Well, is it bad?
No, but
Why can't you talk?
I mean,
All right.
you can put it in the private chat if you don't want
Yeah,
I'm
put it in the
intrigued
private
now.
to hear
chat.
it.
All right. Okay.
Yeah, because now we're curious.
Secret communiques.
No, I'll look. He probably doesn't even watch this show, so I can. I'm in discussions with Dr. Trek, Larry Nemechek, to finally
Oh,
interview him.
oh, that's amazing.
yeah,
Larry's awesome.
Yeah, I've been. In a couple weeks, I'm going to interview him to see if we can agree on a time and a day to finally do it. But I'm really excited to talk to him because he's one of my favorite Star Trek people.
He's been on this show and on Text Trek, if I'm not mistaken,
Really?
as well. Yeah,
Mhm.
Okay, I didn't
not
know
on
that.
not on Starfleet Boy After Dark. Sorry, he's been on the regular Starfleet Boy Star
I
Trek
didn't know that.
discussion.
Yeah, Larry's a really good guy. I like
He's a really
how
good
he's
guy.
like,
He has a-
he's just
he has a-
he's got that kind of attitude. Like,
I think it's a
yeah.
Midwest accent, if I'm
I
not
don't know.
mistaken.
I'm not
He's
trying
from
to make fun of him,
Oklahoma.
but
He's from Oklahoma. He has an
He's
Oklahoma
just-
accent.
Oklahoma
He's a
accent.
very positive
He's very
go-getter.
but he is
He's
Dr.
good.
Trek. He has an insane vault of knowledge
Yeah. He
He
about
wrote the
Star
TNG
Trek.
manual, didn't he?
Yeah, that's right. I think
the
he did.
companion. Yeah,
The companion.
Yeah, I wrote the TNG companion.
Yeah.
He did a lot. He had a pretty prolific career. He was also like the editor in chief of Star Trek: The Communicator.
mm-hmm.
He has
What
a
was that
story credit on the Star Trek Voyager episode. Was it Prophecy or so? The one with the Klingons.
Bless you. Good or Gesundheit, rather.
I have the guest lineup for Star Trek
that-
Las Vegas.
Is that the one where
put it
B'Elanna
up.
dies and is on the ship? The ghost
No,
ship?
it's the one where they find that Klingon ship that had like traveled to the Delta Quadrant, and they think B'Elanna might be their messiah, and
Oh.
Neelix bangs a Klingon.
Oh.
And so hell, I guess you haven't gotten to that one
I
yet.
don't think I've gotten there yet. Yeah.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Can I share my screen?
Yes, please. Oh, it's okay. I got it right here.
Marcelo is trying to say something. What do you got? What do you got, Marcelo?
Sorry, I keep interrupting you. And I also just recently interviewed Dan Decker, because of you, Sohail. So I want to say thank
cool.
you for that. Yeah. All right, I'll shut up now.
No, it's totally fine. You're totally allowed to plug your show, and all of you guys should do that too.
Is it George Takei or George Takai?
I would say Takei.
Takei.
I think it's Takei.
Takei. Okay.
That's how you say it. It rhymes with okay.
Okay,
George Takei actually tells this joke about like when he first met Gene Roddenberry, and Gene was like, "Oh, you must be George Takei," and then George Takei said, "Oh, you actually pronounce it Takei. It rhymes with okay." It's funny because Takai is the Japanese word for expensive, and then Gene Roddenberry said, "Well, I want to hire you as an actor, but I don't want you to be expensive. So yeah, you're Takei, not Takai."
Interesting.
But
Oh, Roddenberry.
so we have
Old people humor.
yeah, we have the 4 surviving TOS stars: William Shatner, George Takei, Nichelle Nichols, and Walter Koenig.
Are they sharing a stage, or do they not?
No,
do
no,
that?
no, no. They will never be on a stage together.
Ugh.
Nichelle doesn't even do stage.
Well,
stuff.
yeah. Unfortunately.
And then these two will they're probably never going to be in the same room.
Well, they'll be in the same
because
building,
they hate each
but
other.
probably yeah. Jerry
yeah,
Ryan
who else
and
we got?
Kelsey Grammer. Wow.
Yeah, Jerry Ryan from Picard and Voyager, and Kelsey Grammer.
Who Alexander Enberg is in
Anthony
Voyager.
Vorik, and he was also in he was the Vulcan in Lower Decks, the Next Generation Lower Decks. Andy Robinson, I've never met him, Garrick before,
Oh,
so
cool,
I'm really
Garrick,
looking
yeah.
forward to seeing him. Anthony
Montgomery.
Rapp from Enterprise. I mean,
Sherman.
Anthony Rapp from Discovery and Anthony Montgomery from two Anthonys.
Yeah.
The Enterprise Anthony and the Discovery Anthony. Armin Shimmerman. I don't even know who Athena Maisie is.
Jessen from Voyager. I don't remember.
Linda
character.
Park shows up in For All Mankind. It's a Ronald D. Moore show that it's fantastic and I highly recommend, by the way.
By the way,
Yeah.
speaking of,
It
wanna
is.
see
It is
that.
the. It is what. It is. It is the best science fiction I've seen in years, aside from The Expanse.
really,
Yeah,
Oh
me
yeah,
and,
it's all. It's an alternate history where what if the space race between the Russians and the
No,
U.S. didn't
I
end?
know. I'm trying to watch that show.
It goes. It veers off into an alternate history that gets more and more interesting as it goes.
yeah.
The Okudas work on that show, and that's partly why I
Oh,
want
it's
to.
quality. It's quality. I only
the show.
wish that Trek could be of that same quality. Like if
Yeah,
it
me
was,
and-
I'd be so happy.
And
feel
Ron
like it
Moore
could
will
with the
be in
Okudas
Vegas.
involved. Oh, that's cool.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, I
Ben
talked
Vereen.
about
I love him.
who the hell is that?
Ben Vereen is he
Vereen,
plays LaForge's father, and he's also the host of a kids show called Zoobly Zoo that I used to watch, which I loved.
But his best role is in the best episode of Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, where he plays Will's father.
Oh, that's right.
And he has that confrontation with Uncle Phil, and Uncle Phil calls him out, and he has a great line. He's like, "Do you think I wanted this? It just happened." And he says it like really like great acting in that episode, and that's the first time I noticed. And when he showed up as what episode was he? In TNG. What episode was that?
It's
That was,
the
uh,
episode.
The
He's
one
only
where he
on a
lost his
VR
mother,
screen.
right?
Or yeah, it's the one where Geordi is doing like that VR thing. That
Yeah,
weird VR thing.
season 7.
It's in season 7, so it sucked because season
It's
7 of
'cause
the Next
his-
Generation is terrible.
It's because his mother gets lost in space. So
Why is
Yeah.
it? Why is it
and
so
his
terrible, Bobby?
and his mother was also a captain
right.
in the
yeah,
Captain
the
LaForge.
Challenger. Was
Yeah.
it the Challenger is the ship
I don't
she
know. It might have
commanded?
been, yeah.
in Star Trek 4? No, or 3.
What do you
in-
guys?
no.
No, in Star Trek season in TNG season 7.
7, yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought she actually played another character in one of the movies.
Why is
I'm wrong about that, I'm
TNG
pretty
season
sure.
7 so bad?
There's a
It's
lot
not,
of bad
it's-
episodes.
it's
in
not-
it.
Because
one
they
of the
just
best
didn't care.
seasons.
They didn't care. At that,
It's not.
late-
It's one of the best seasons of Star Trek: The Next Generation.
One at a time.
It's really not. It's
It's among them.
no. Yeah, they were doing DS9 and trying to develop Voyager and getting ready to do the movie Star Trek Generations, and so no one really cared.
Okay.
But seasons 4, 5, and 6 of TNG are really good. That's like some of the best Star Trek ever. And then like season 7, there's like a couple good episodes in season 7, but most of it is terrible to mediocre.
Okay. All right.
Doesn't
that one
season
where
7
the
have
Enterprise becomes sentient
Doesn't
and they have to
season-
go on the holodeck on the train. I hate that episode.
Yeah, it has all like those episodes where it's like stuff with like someone's family. Like we have like okay, Geordi's mom dies, and it's so fucking weird how how they handle that. Then you also have like turns out Troy had like a long lost sister who died,
That's right.
and no one talked about. And then like Worf's brother shows up, and it's like, oh Picard, look, you have like the secret bastard son. But
Oh my god, I forgot all these terrible episodes.
Yeah. And then
like all these
Crusher's
episodes.
grandma.
I'm sorry,
Let's not even talk
guys.
about like what happened with Crusher's grandma having sex with a candle ghost.
Oh yeah.
But then like so Hell's gonna tell us like, oh yeah, that's one of the best seasons of Star Trek ever.
Sorry.
I love
Sorry.
it. I love that season.
I apologize
It's-
for bringing all
No,
this
it's
bad
the
stuff.
father
to the
makes a
surface.
lot. Father's making a lot of like rational
Arguments.
arguments here, but
Isn't Aquiel or Aquiel, is that the
Yeah.
seventh? Yeah. Okay.
what's isn't so wait, what's the name of Riker and Troy's daughter again?
Kestra.
Kestra is
Kestra.
named after the sister, the
Yes.
long.
No,
long
when
lost sister.
was she also mentioned? When did they mention Kestra other than Dark Page and Nepenthe? There's one other episode that mentions her.
Ooh,
No
I
one
don't
knows
know.
it.
No, what is it?
It was in Deep Space Nine. It
Oh,
was one of
yes,
the
I was gonna
Luoxana
guess
episodes
that.
There.
I should have gone with my gut. I was gonna guess that it was the Odo.
It's when she
episode,
shows
yeah.
up pregnant. It's that episode Muse, which is terrible. Or The Muse.
The Muse.
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
That's the one where
You
Jake is having his life sucked out of him by that weird alien lady.
Oh, Evelyn from 1987's
Yes.
Masters of the Universe.
Yeah, it ties back into Masters of the Universe.
Nice.
Um,
very-
that's a really
every-
creepy. That's a really creepy episode. It's strangely gives me ASMR vibes when she's doing that thing to him, but it's also very creepy.
But yeah, on the Star Trek Las Vegas, we're also getting Lieutenant Marlena from Mirror Mirror. And then
I know.
Adira
Wow.
from
Yep.
Discovery. So this will be one of
Their first appearances.
yeah. And Bobby Clark, he was the Gorn, but he's also the guy who yells "Festival, Festival" in what's the Beta 3 episode?
With the Red Hour.
The Return of the Archons.
The
I
Return
mean,
of the Archons.
Shaka De Silva could be in this because
Yeah,
he could
why
be
is
like
he
the
not-
guy who got his neck broke by F8 and
Yeah, Shaka, what's going on? Why aren't you at STLV? Get on the guest list, boy.
Brent Spiner, Casey Biggs, who's played Damar on DS9, Chase Masterson, who I had a huge
Chris
crush on
Doohan.
growing up.
Who didn't have a huge crush on her? Who
Yeah,
was,
the
you know,
son
into
of
women,
Scotty.
I guess, but yeah.
Struck. Look how much he looks like Avery Brooks now. He grew up
It's
to look like
insane.
Ben Sisko.
He could play a young Ben Sisko too in flashbacks in the films. If they wanted him to, but Jake Sisko grew up
Tucker.
way more handsome than he was depicted to grow up.
do y'all remember that black Vulcan
Admiral.
Admiral in Discovery?
Yes.
He's gonna be there.
The one who sounds like very much like a robot. He sounds like this.
Hey, Daniel Day Kim.
Yeah, he was
Yeah.
on
Voyager.
Voyager and on Enterprise.
He's the astronaut in one of the best episodes of Voyager
Mhm.
that I remember.
In Enterprise, he was part of the security team for.
The alien astronaut.
Book is gonna be there. David
David
Ajala.
Ayala, wow.
Good old David Ajala's gonna be there
Oh.
with his accent.
This dude
Right.
who he played Linus, and he also
Linus,
played
yeah.
Cosmo, that other bounty hunter in the season 3 premiere. He does a lot of the aliens on Discovery. Denise Crosby, Dominic Keating. Who's this dude?
Garrett
Oh, the
Wang.
guy who played Shakar. He's also the vampire in Monster Squad. He's Dracula.
Oh, you're right.
Yes. Yeah.
Elnor.
I
Even
know. I'm so
Evagora.
bummed I'm not gonna get to
Garrett
meet Evan
Wong.
Evagora.
Gary Graham, Saval from Enterprise. Of course,
Gary
Gates-
Graham looks like a
Alien
rock
Nation.
star. It's also that's such a good look. Gates
looks like-
McFadden. Why'd you skip Gates McFadden?
What-
Hello?
I acknowledged her.
Oh, you did.
Everyone
okay.
knows who she is.
Yeah, it's true.
Most
Issa
boring-
Briones.
most
Whoa.
Boring Starfleet doctor in all the Star Trek shows.
Oh, come on.
Who,
Bashir's the
who,
most
who do
boring,
you
I'm
think
just
was who do you think was a less interesting Star Trek doctor?
Dr. Bashir.
Okay, I disagree.
I think Phlox for me. I didn't quite dig.
Oh.
I thought he was kind of just. There was nothing
He-
like
yeah.
too intriguing about him except for his weird, like unconventional lifestyle.
Marcella.
In comparison to humans.
Dr. Pulaski pissed me off.
Oh, I like Dr. Pulaski.
Yeah, I liked her too.
I think she's more interesting than Dr. Crusher.
No.
She actually is.
Oh no! Come on!
Okay.
She actually is.
How would you describe Dr. Crusher without telling me her job or her relationship to
Space
Picard or
Walk.
Wesley?
Uh,
How would you describe her?
Amazing.
I can't.
Dr. Crusher's
Yeah, because
void
there's
of
nothing
personality.
Yeah,
Yeah, she has
At least Pulaski has a spark and a spunk to her. I don't know what words I'm using here, but
I feel like Dr. Crusher's always disagreeing with Jean-Luc. She's a good she does that
In Star Trek First Contact when Lily this is insane, someone has to stop Picard, and Dr. Crusher is no, literally we do not disagree with him. When the captain's made his mind up, that's final.
I guess I'm talking about on
and
the
then
show.
no other time she's like, Jean-Luc, this is a drug. They're, she's always like, Jean-Luc, this can't go on. You must do something. She was like that in the first
I don't
season.
know. I feel like
In the
poor
first season,
Beverly-
she was always like, Jean-Luc. I
Yeah,
don't
she
know.
was
Maybe I'm remembering wrong. I don't know.
No, she was a good in the show at least. She kind of fights him on a lot of things, which I like. She's always there to I don't know. I think she's awesome, but I can see where you're coming from, Father. But I definitely don't think she's the most boring. I think it's Julian. Julian's the
He has so much going on. He
Oh, I
has
like
like the
Julian.
cool Section 31 stuff. He has like that genetically augmented stuff. He has that relationship with O'Brien.
I think he's a bit
He-
entitled, Julian, and a bit privileged.
Yeah, but then we see him like get knocked down and become humbled, and then have to build his identity back up. But we also get Issa Briones from Picard, James Darren from DS9, Janet Kidder.
Awesome,
Well,
man.
this is a new actor to the family. She was
Mhm.
Osira.
Osira.
Jeffrey Combs, of course, who has just added another character to his resume. Who's this person? Jeff
The Borg
Coopwood.
voice from Star Trek First Contact.
Oh wow, that's a deep cut. Jane Brooke from Discovery, Admiral Cornwell. She banged Lorca.
John Delancey, what?
Oh,
Yeah,
the
Q.
voice, yeah, that's a voice of Discovery down there. The voice of the computer, I think. Right.
Yeah, Julian Grossman.
Yeah,
Jonathan
yeah.
Del Arco will be there. That's awesome.
Q. Who's
Cool.
Caitlin Hopkins. She was in Voyager. I
She
don't
played
know
Zayla.
her.
I don't know that character.
Karen Austin. She's
Hello.
also in
Maybe I hear
Voyager.
the blues are calling. Toss salads and scrambled eggs. Mercy.
Kenneth Mitchell will be there. That's amazing.
Wow.
Oh, that is really cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
Have
that
you
documentary
guys-
about him that they released
Yeah.
online was pretty.
Yeah.
I need to check
Intense.
that out.
yeah.
Yeah, he is a very interesting dude. If those who might not know, he suffers from Lou Gehrig's
ALS.
ALS.
LS.
And
He-
they interview him and they don't cut away either. Like they leave it on him for him to say what he has to say. It's fucking heartbreaking.
yeah,
Yeah,
he's
He
that's
just
it.
straight up said he just pretty much straight up says like how bad it is living with something this terrible and like what Trek has done for him personally and they go through the process of explaining how they built the chair for him for the show and yeah, he was great, man. He was so good.
Super great.
I wish
LeVar
somebody could do that
Burton,
for me.
who's going to be on Jeopardy next week.
Starting Monday, baby.
Who is
Yeah.
Katie Swink, who is Armin Shimmerman's wife. and
Kitty, yeah.
Lee Ehrenberg. He did a Ferengi at one point, and then
Oh, Damon Bach.
I remember him as the parking dude from Seinfeld. He was arguing over the parking space. And he told Kramer that Jerry is a phony, and Jerry confronts him. He's like, Kramer, why did you tell him?
we have some stunt doubles from
I know, very
Voyager.
cool.
Oh, here's another dude I've never actually had to see in person before, but Mark Alamo, Gold Dukat himself, the greatest Star Trek villain of all time. Right here, this dude. This dude is the greatest
agree
Star
with
Trek
that.
villain.
There is no other Trek villain that is as fleshed out as he is.
Gold
And that's just
Dukat,
because,
yeah.
he was in a serialized TV show. That's one thing. But, like, they actually
May
stuck with his
Wiseman.
character and kept bringing him back. And people argue that, like, at the end of that show, like, where he gets all culty and stuff, and, like, he just basically fucking goes crazy. Some people, like, didn't like that. I love that shit.
Me too.
Yeah, like where he's just it gets more and more absurd, and he becomes more and more just fucking like unhinged.
Yeah, I can see the criticism. I can see someone being like, "Well, it no longer has like that nuance it had, in like season 3 when he's explaining like, yeah, well, I'm over here fighting the Maquis instead of taking my son to the amusement park for his birthday and stuff." And like
Yeah.
we kind of lose that nuance, but it's like they earned that, I think, with like that episode Waltz, where you see him going crazy. It's like his own choices, his own like obsession with like his own personal supremacy, and it drove him to that point, and you kind of see the folly of his way.
I cannot effing wait for them to remaster that shit so I can just go. I will go through it 3 times from beginning to end. But I'm just waiting. I just
Do
don't
you
want to
think-
watch it again in standard def fucking
do
edition,
you-
man.
you
After
think
watching
they're
What We Left Behind like 15 fucking times now and seeing those HD clips that many times,
PJ's been spoiled.
I'm spoiled for it now. Like when I go back and try to watch, I do go back and watch some episodes here and there, and then I'm like, damn, if they just I know it's time consuming and it costs money. But they're starting it with the movies. They're redoing, they're going back into the vault and scanning all of
4K.
them, and they're not even scanning them in 4K. Most things are scanned in like fucking 8K now. Back in the day, when TNG was being remastered, for Blu-rays, a lot of things were scanned, I heard, in native 2K at the beginning. So like that's the highest resolution you could get with the TNG remaster. So they would literally have to go back if they want to do it. But you don't need to, really. It's fine. But with DS9 and Voyager in particular, with the particular like lighting that they use in that show, it would really, really look almost modern when you upgrade that shit. Like, and people don't even realize the difference, like how much detail you'll see. I've gone on about this so many times. I'm going to shut up.
No,
What were
I'm
you gonna
interested.
ask?
Keep going.
Oh, yeah. What were we gonna ask them, Marcel? You had a question?
No, I was well. I just want to point out one thing. I love Mary Wiseman,
Yeah, sure.
and yes, he's
Yeah,
so
she'll be
beautiful.
there.
there.
And Mary Chiefo,
Yeah.
both
And-
Marys
yeah.
from Discovery.
Oh my god. No, but I want to ask. Do you guys think that they're eventually going to re-release like every Star Trek series in HD, or do you think that's like a
I
pipe
don't-
dream?
I don't
There's only
know.
two that aren't, and that's
Yeah.
DS9 and Voyager.
Voyager.
Yeah.
So.
I can see Enterprise getting like some kind of AI upgrade, because what happened was it was filmed. It was on film for a certain point, and then they went to using digital cameras. I don't know what the native resolution on those cameras were, so I don't know. Like, would you have the AI update that to 4K or a higher resolution? I mean, in fucking 10 years, everything's gonna be like 6 and 8K anyway. So, I mean, it's just gonna keep getting to the point where it's like the resolution is so good it doesn't even matter. Like, people won't even. It's like 1080p to 4K will still be good for a lot of people. A lot of people won't even need. Like, even if DS9 was in 1080p, I would still watch it. It's fine. But I have a high resolution copy of What We Left Behind, and when you watch that on the 4K TV, and you see those shots, especially when you saw it on the big screen, it's like, holy shit, like the clarity of these images. People don't realize how much detail 35mm film captures. Like, it really is quite astounding. Yes, there is film grain, and that's a part of the charm of it, I guess.
If you have if you're shooting at with a lot of light and with a low ISO film, like if you're shooting on 100 ISO, there's virtually no detectable grain.
Exactly, because
really
you'll
zoom
notice
in.
the early seasons of TNG. I got the first 2 seasons on Blu-ray, and the film grain is like harsh, man. It's like really there, which is good because you're actually seeing more detail in the picture itself. But you can tell they lit the set. They both lit the sets better in season 3 onward, and they used
a lower
a
ISO,
better film
yeah.
speed too, right? Like,
Yeah, exactly.
They
and
had a different DP in season 3, I think.
And that's why if
Yeah.
you ever see video footage of a set, it's usually so bright, like it's lit really, really bright. But that's because they're shooting on a faster,
Camera?
slower, like a 100 or 200. I'm not sure how it works in film. It's been a long time since I've used film, but with like a 200 or a 100 ISO up to 400, you wouldn't really notice. The grain would be like very minimal on those film speeds.
You'll notice in movies when they have sunlight coming in through the window, or they have lamps and stuff on in the room, or candles, that if you really look, they're not nearly the source of light in the actual scene. It's many other things. That's the beauty of DS9, was that there was so much internal lighting on the set that it looks so much more natural. That's why it
You
looks
see a
so
lot
much
of
more like a film when it
reflections
is
and, like, yeah.
upgraded to HD.
Yeah.
Well, they build that in a lot of sets now. They build sets that are self-lit. That's like really common in a lot of TV shows now. It's easier to do because you can have like these like really bright LEDs. They don't get like 1,000 degrees hot and like just melt all your actors on set and stuff. But it was very rare for that back in the 90s. So it's I guess it was Herman Zimmerman who designed the he was the production designer on DS9 going into
Right.
season 1. Yeah, it's like it's really incredible the feat that they pulled off. I don't think people really appreciate how large and gigantic that promenade set was, and it was all self-lit and
No, like every time I watch, just as an example, every time I watch like Star Trek Discovery on Paramount Plus, and I have like all seasons of Star Trek Discovery on Blu-ray, and when I turn on the Blu-ray, the picture looks so much better. It looks like I'm watching a different thing. It's like
there's
like
no
night and day.
compression.
Yeah. There's no compression.
Because whenever we're streaming content, we're not getting the full picture because the data is too big, so they have to use compression to like basically take like the unimportant parts of the image and remove detail there. That's why you see like a bunch of like that weird pixelation, like that weird blockiness, and when it's like black, when there's like shadows and stuff. You know, you see like those like weird blocks. It's because the software they use is like, okay, this is shadows. It's unimportant, so we're going to remove a lot of the detail here in order to reduce data and make this easier to stream with people's internet bandwidth. So anything you watch on the disc is going to look way better than anything that you stream.
Now, to elaborate on that, excuse me, I don't mean to make fun of Starfleet Boy here, but he was talking about how he watched the Picard Blu-ray and it looked so good he thought it was 4K. And I was like, no, you actually have to have a 4K player, and they don't have it out on 4K. But that is the difference. It's like you can watch it in the what you think is the full 1080 on Paramount Plus or Crave or whatever. But then when you actually have the disc itself, like the
So much better.
uncompressed just HD, not even 4K, just the HD, it's like
So much better.
it's good. And I notice when you stream in 4K on Disney Plus or Netflix or wherever, it's literally at the quality of the best Blu-ray on disc you know what I mean? So like there is like that step down slightly in quality that if you really look you can notice, especially with Ghostbusters in 4K on Netflix. You can see a lot of that 80s film grain in the darker scenes, but you can see the pixelation meld with the film grain because it is so clear that it is showing but at the same time it's not the full 4K type of thing. Like I've actually seen what 4K looks like on an actual bigger screen than the one I have, even like at a friend's house, and I was like, wow, like I didn't even know it could be that crystal clear. And of course 10 years from now we'll be looking back and saying, it was nothing. Now you can actually walk into the movie and talk to the characters.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Hey, look who's here.
Hey, man.
Hey, how's it going?
Man
I'm sorry,
at
I didn't
Martian.
mean to, I wasn't trying to say like you don't know the difference or anything. Starfleet.
No, I
Boy.
didn't.
Remember,
I
do you
did.
remember
I
that
wasn't aware.
conversation?
I have a 4K television, and I just assumed that Blu-rays for some reason could be encoded in 4K. So I had no idea that you have to buy a 4K player and 4K discs. Like
There could be the
that
upscaling
it
too.
is.
When you watch like high quality uncompressed content on your 4K, it can make it look better than it did on a.
I think my TV has upscaling for sure, because when I watch Deep Space Nine in my bedroom, it's not tolerable. It's like hard to watch it unless I watch it on a smaller screen like my iPad. But when I watch it on the 4K TV, some magic occurs, and it almost looks a little bit like maybe HD.
Yeah,
It
like,
does some cool smoothing, but it doesn't look bad. It just like it doesn't look noticeable. It just does something to the picture that makes it like better on a larger format. Ruben, how's it going?
Pretty good, man.
I'm so sorry I didn't send you the. I do it to everyone now. I didn't send.
You haven't
send you the
you
link.
haven't done it to me yet, but when you do it to me, I quit.
Sorry.
I'm
Ruben,
kidding.
Did you see at least episode 1 of Masters of the Universe Revelation? And was PJ right? Did you just watch 10 minutes of it
Tila.
and make a judgment?
I watched all 5 episodes actually, and
Oh, don't say anything about past
I still
episode
made a
1.
judgment.
You did
But
make a judgment.
Did you like it?
It was okay.
That's
what I thought.
better.
It's
That's
like,
better than his usual thing. That's cool.
Without giving away spoilers, it feels like the first half, which is this first 5 episodes, and it's literally the first half of something bigger. It all depends on how it plays out, because if it doesn't play out well in the next 5 episodes, I'll probably not like the show, but I'm digging it so far because it's kind of like throwing me for a loop and I don't really know what's coming next. So it's one of those things where it's not like Invincible in that way, but Invincible is another one of those shows where I didn't know what was coming.
Real quick, back to the
is that the
STLV stuff for a
Jabberwocky?
second. This is the most attended STLV I've seen, right?
I'm only halfway down the page.
Oh jeez, but going back up, we
that
saw Nana Visitor and Michelle Hurd, and there's the Dadmiral, the real Dadmiral.
Rom.
There's
Yeah.
Rom's gonna be there.
Yep, Max
Uh,
Rodencheck.
7 of 9's mom. This is Annika Hansen's mom.
Ruben, have you ever been to a
Noah
Noah
STLV?
Arborback Katz, the Mary
Star Trek Las Vegas.
Wiseman's husband.
Yeah, he's really cool. He's like a Star Trek fan whose dream came true in the best possible
Yeah.
way. There's
Cassidy Yates, and she's in the Orville too, right? She's the doctor.
Yeah.
This is an insane
This is an amazing list.
list.
Oh my
yeah.
God, Chakotay, the guy that hates Star Trek. I mean, what's his face? He hates Star
Yeah,
Trek.
I've never seen Robert Beltran at a convention before, so this will be the first time I ever see him.
Wait, what do you mean
Nice.
Robert Beltran hates Star Trek?
He hates
doesn't-
Star Trek.
Yeah,
What?
he doesn't. But he
Yeah.
hates Star Trek.
He talks shit. He's like, it was a dumb show. It was always like, oh, like the shields are at 40%, and they're
Moron.
about to
Come
go
on,
down.
are you serious?
Well, I mean,
Robert
Yeah.
Beltran?
You can't blame the guy. His character didn't get a lot of love on that show.
No, but there's this story that every season he would try to sabotage his performance because he was like begging the showrunners to fire him, but they never did it.
Shut
I
up.
don't know why.
That's-
His character was pretty useless.
There's a
Right?
lot of Chakotay fans out there, actually.
Sure.
I feel like I've met a lot
No,
of
I
people.
mean-
Change the fact that his character didn't have any great story.
No, I mean his character was kind of lame in my opinion. I mean, I agree with oh my God, Ruben that they squandered so much, but they could have done so much more with his character.
So he's coming. So what is it like? Does he shit talk about Star Trek at the
No,
convention?
he
No.
charges money and signs autographs, and then takes pictures with people, and then goes on stage and answers questions at a Q&A panel.
but
That's
he
his
doesn't.
job. It's just like it's
It's
just a
his
job.
job.
Oh, yeah,
That's
they
so
make a killing
wild.
with those things. You know how much money they get paid to be at those
Yeah,
things?
Ruben, we were just talking
all these
like
people have been out of work.
there's
All these people have been out of work for a year. There hasn't been any conventions,
Any
so
conventions.
they're like desperate. They're desperate to
They're
make
desperate.
some money.
And I don't care if one
Eager,
of
I
the
would
actors
say,
doesn't
not
like Star
desperate.
Trek. I don't care if one of the actors.
well, Shaka doesn't like
dislikes-
Shaka doesn't like Star Trek Picard very much, and
Mhm.
he's in
And,
it, so
and he was in it.
so I could see that.
Gowron,
mean-
Robert O'Reilly.
Yeah, I mean, I don't care that the
Savick.
actor who plays Chakotay doesn't like Star Trek, but when I first heard that, I was like, how could you be so negative about the show that made you like, I don't know. Whatever.
I mean, I guess he didn't have a good
Roxanne
experience.
Dawson, who's also an accomplished
I
television
gu-
director.
I guess not.
Robin
Moana.
Curtis, the real Savick, as many people are saying.
Star Trek 3 and 4 Savick.
hmm She has more appearances than Kirstie Alley Savick.
That's
Oh my God.
That's B'Elanna, isn't it?
Sandy
What?
Gimple, the salt vampire from the original series. First Star Trek episode to ever air, September 8th, 1966.
Whoa.
In The Man Trap.
Wow.
And then this guy, he played Captain Pike in The Menagerie when he was sitting in the chair, in the wheelchair.
Yeah, Sean Kenny, that's right.
Oh my God, that was the guy in the chair.
hmm
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Shazad
He's like a young looking person. So is Sandy Gimple. That's crazy. They must have been really young.
Oh, these pictures might be from
Shazad-
the 80s for all we know.
Oh, Shazad Latif is gonna be at this convention. That's crazy.
I never got that.
Father, you can't take pictures of these folks at their booths, right?
Terry
You have to do it
Farrell, look
at
at
the
Some people
you have to buy a photo thing.
in 2019, Shazad would like take selfies with you for like $10.
Oh, really? Wow, that's awesome.
But
Depends on the guest and
I
that.
didn't-
Mrs.
do
Nimoy.
one.
Ruben, can you raise your levels a little bit somehow?
maybe I just
Who was Tarina? Is she the Vulcan president in Discovery?
Tarina is the Vulcan, so the Navaran president. Yes, correct. That's cool.
Terry
Farrell.
Terry Farrell.
Jadzia, Tuvok.
Yeah.
It was enjoyable to see both Terry Farrell and Nicole DeBoer, who's also going to be there,
I think this
recently
is F8.
on a panel that I saw.
No, it's not. It's not F8.
No, that's not F8.
Oh, who is he then? This is performer on Enterprise and Picard.
Tim Storms.
Maybe it's
I can't recognize him from. He looks familiar from Enterprise, but I can't tell.
Well, I'm
Could
gonna
be
go to
an alien
Memory
or something.
Alpha and type in Tim Storms.
The guy who played F8 is another dude altogether. He's like this really tall, way younger than this guy.
Okay, Tim
Memory Alpha
Storms.
says
He was
you
a
pulled it
stunt
up?
double. He's a stunt double for Patrick Stewart.
Oh, cool. Oh, cool. And he played a Vulcan. It looks like on Enterprise, like a background Vulcan.
Oh,
I think when Patrick
cool.
Stewart directs something, he's like, instead of action, he says "make it so" or "engage."
No, come on, does he really? That would
Tracy
be
Coco,
right.
who was Lieutenant
Lieutenant
J.
J. Wow.
When I had Facebook, she friended me and used to talk to me all the time, and I'm like, why? Why is she talking? And
What?
I got into this thing where I started watching. They started.
Maybe she
airing-
had. She liked you. PJ.
I don't know, but
She's
they
a
started.
lesbian.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
But they started airing Baywatch, and she is a stunt performer in the first few seasons of Baywatch, and then she went on to Star Trek. But every time I would see her in Baywatch, I'd like take a picture and like tag her in it on Facebook, and she'd share it around and be like, "Oh, thanks, I remember these times." And I don't know why. I always meant to ask her, like, can you be a guest on my thing or whatever, but like I didn't want to bother her. But super nice, and that's the time when I was like all in these Facebook groups, and she was there, and Father and everybody, and
Oh wow.
before I started hating Facebook and realized how evil a tool it was.
Facebook isn't that great.
I just got offered a job working for Facebook.
And you said yes.
Uh-oh.
What'd you
I'm
say?
trying to find something else.
You should do it. You can change them from within, Father.
Yeah,
Maybe
you
you'll.
should.
Be careful what you say, though. They're monitoring your every
They
move.
are. We
Yeah,
are being
well,
broadcast on Facebook.
I talk shit about them all the time, like in Facebook Messenger to people. I was like, can you believe these dumb assholes are offering me a job even though I talk shit about Zuck the fuck and their trash ass website?
Zuck the fuck.
That's it. There we go.
The evil data.
I still think they'll offer you a job. Who's William Knight?
He was in the original series. I think he was like some red shirt or something. But Vaughn Armstrong, I believe he still holds the record
Admiral
for the most.
Forrest.
He has played the most characters in Star Trek out of any single actor ever.
What are all his characters?
Oh my god, he was in addition to Admiral Forrest, he was a Klingon in that Worf episode, Heart of Glory in season 1. He was Gul Dunar in Deep Space Nine season 1 and past prologue. He was that Romulan scientist in that Voyager episode, Eye of the Needle.
I don't know if
He
I've
was,
seen that yet.
He was another Cardassian in like season 6 or 7 of DS9. He was an ex-Borg in a Voyager episode. He was a Vidian in Voyager. He was a
Dang.
Herodian in Voyager. He was well, you haven't seen the last episode of Voyager, but he's a Klingon who invents time travel technology. Who's in the Voyager season or series finale. He was
I
the
did
Klingon.
cheat and watch the end of Voyager when
Oh.
it aired. So
Okay, well,
I
you
do
know who he
remember
is.
it. Yeah, I do remember that character.
Made of the time machine that Janeway stole from him. He was the Klingon captain in Sleeping Dogs on Enterprise. He was that alien that Archer's dog peed on the tree and like pissed off the aliens.
Oh yeah.
He and that species was in 2 different episodes in Enterprise. And then you could also count like the Mirror Universe Admiral Forrest as a different character. So yeah, that's the most that anyone has ever played.
That's crazy. That's a lot of characters. That's a lot of
Yeah, it's like
characters.
11 or 12 characters.
Star Trek royalty right there.
And then
And that's
Well,
You know,
so
when
that-
you got to realize the cost saving measures of having the same actor play different aliens too, because they don't have to go through the process of molding his
Brandon
headpiece over and over again. You know how like that process where they have to put the liquid stuff around your head and it's very claustrophobic. They just have this same actor's head mold, and it's good for a few years until their their face changes or something, and they have to do it over again. But
and you know they can do
literally
the work.
They can just take that head. Okay, we're using this actor that we've used like 50 times, and they can use the same thing. But yeah, it's like you never notice. That's the beauty of these actors that show up over and over again in different parts. You notice, but you don't notice because they're always so good in whatever they're doing. Like James Cromwell is in a few episodes
Yeah.
of TNG, I believe, and
DS9.
DS9.
He was
DS9. Yeah,
Karama dude.
And
You
he's great in
guys
every one of those roles.
look, they have podcasters on the special guest list.
How
Probably
exciting!
Why isn't Text Track
Do
on
they?
there? Yeah, look, that's
Oh,
Ashley.
Inglorious Trexperts, dude.
Trexperts, yeah.
Yeah, these are all like non-actors. These are like other guys. So Brandon Braga, the writer, Dan Curry, he was a effects dude. Here's the other Inglorious Trexpert guy.
Didn't he write?
Oh,
the Game
David
of Thrones
Livingston.
books?
Oh, the Akudas, look at that.
The Akudas.
No, that's George R. Yeah, the Okudas. There, I saw them. I got to talk to them in 2019. That was really cool.
Yeah, the most valued couple in Trek history.
Look at this dude, Jeff Russo, the composer, and Dennis McCarthy, the composer.
Oh,
Jeff Russo also does the music for All Mankind.
So good.
Oh, nice.
Oh.
Jerry
So
Taylor.
good. Oh, that's
Linda Park is you'll see Ronald D. Moore's influence, the Star Trek influence. They actually mentioned Star Trek a couple of times in the actual show itself.
It's season 2, right?
No, season 1 and season 2, I believe. Like they said, I'm only into a few episodes in season 2, so.
Ronald D. Moore.
Ronald D. Moore, the fucking genius
he
right
is.
there.
Yeah.
And then
I
also
never
Ronald
knew
B.
how good-
Moore.
Oh yeah, that guy.
Ronald D. Moore looks
Who
like
nobody knows about.
George
He-
Lucas's
special effects dude.
hotter brother.
Oh,
So
Rick
they're not
Sternbach?
related, right? They're not related, obviously.
No,
They can't
the-
be. They can't be two brothers named Ronald.
No,
There's
that's
Ronald
one.
B.
This one was
Moore
doing
and
effects,
Ronald
and
D.
one was a
Moore.
writer on Next Generation. Yeah, it was weird. That's why they
And
always
then-
use D and B in their names. Rick Sternbach, he was a big ship designer. He designed Voyager and a bunch of other ships.
Yep.
It's
And of course,
pronounced- it's
Rod.
pronounced V'ger.
It's cool that
Didn't
Rod
he-
Roddenberry's there.
Didn't he?
Yeah, I met him in 2019.
Didn't Rick?
Did he punch you in the
Sternbach,
face?
No,
I heard he's
Uh,
violent.
he was a nice dude. He shook my hand.
designed
He's
the
like,
NX-01?
I heard don't mess with Rod Roddenberry. He'll give you the old 1 and 2.
Wow.
he was
meaning
with
both-
this
meaning his
supermodel
fists.
though.
Marcelo
'cause-
asked if Rick Sternbach
Don't ever hit on his supermodel
designed
girlfriends.
the NX-01. Is that right?
The NX-01 was designed by Doug Drexler, who was
Drexler,
actually
that's what I
gonna
thought.
be he was gonna be at STLV and then had to cancel because he is busy on some work which might be related to Picard season 2. I know that
Yes,
he's
that's right.
involved with that show.
Okay, cool.
I was joking about Rod Roddenberry. I know nothing about the man.
No, he
Is
was
he
really
related?
cool.
Is he related to somebody important?
Yeah, he's Gene Roddenberry's son.
Oh, go get out of town.
But he was really nice. He like shook my hand. And he's like, "Oh hi, well I'm Rod Roddenberry." I was like, "Yeah, I know who you are."
I know who you are, you stupid asshole.
Oh my god! Hey, Scott,
Mans.
look at that!
Who reviews movies?
I love Scott
I
Mans.
love Scott. He's so good.
Is he like the modern day Leonard Maltin?
Oh, he is. He's
Yeah,
the
so good.
Did Leonard Maltin die or something?
his knowledge of movies is
I think he's still around.
unmatched.
Unreal.
Like he
right?
knows the dates of fucking everything that ever came out. Like the
Wow.
day a movie came out, no matter
No,
what.
he doesn't know jack shit. If he knows so much, then why doesn't he make movies? Why does he just talk about movies other people made?
Wow.
Man, you've never heard Scott Mans commentate on different things? Like he used to be on Movie Talk years ago. He's
That's
He's
right.
been on like a lot of shows. And every time he's on somebody's show, I'm always like, yes.
I
'Cause
gotta
he's
get
so
a refill.
enthusiastic. He loves Trek, by the way.
Yeah.
Cool.
Make
You
it
should hear
show.
There you go.
Ruben, make it show.
He
Why do you always put him in charge? Why don't you put one of
yeah,
us in
what's
charge?
up with that?
He's like
Ruben
my
doesn't-
oldest friend.
Ruben doesn't.
Aw, that's not an excuse. Come on.
Ruben's busy though. What are you doing?
All right, so yeah, I really love Scott Mans. He's so good.
Ruben is cut off.
You never listen to me.
He's like barely out of the frame.
There you go. So yeah, Scott Mans is great.
So I says to Mabel, I says,
Yeah, I sent him a direct message asking him if he wanted to be on my podcast, but he never got back to me. So I don't know.
I contacted. Who did I contact? I can't remember. Somebody.
Yeah, but I was.
I was like, can I come to your house and sleep in your bed? And they're like, block you.
No, but I
And then
was,
Rebecca Romaine served me papers. But anyway,
Oh my god. No,
PJ,
but,
what did you think when you saw Rebecca Romaine walk into the Prodigy panel and she brought Ethan Peck with her? I thought that was pretty funny.
yeah, it's like, what were you guys doing in the other room? It's like, what? All these number ones. What's going on?
Ethan Peck just shows up. He's like, "Hi, Jerry. I came over to your house to fuck your wife. How are you doing?"
Oh my god, that's
oh my
terrible.
god, it's so terrible.
What if Jerry O'Connell watches this? You know, he's actually Blue Spurk.
No, but I
Damn.
actually really like Jerry O'Connell because I used to watch a show called Crossing Jordan, and he was a detective on Crossing Jordan. He played a police detective.
Completely forgot about that show. I remember it now. Yeah.
Oh, you don't like it, or
Oh, I it's a vague memory. It's like it's something that was completely erased from my mind.
I'm sorry.
No, until you just mentioned it, and then I was like, oh yeah, he was in that show,
Yeah.
Crossing Jordan. But
Yeah.
all I remember from him basically is My Secret Identity, Sliders, Scream 2, Joe's Apartment, Kangaroo Jack.
Oh yeah, that's right.
yeah.
He was Sydney Prescott's ill-fated boyfriend in Screen 2. I should know this. Like,
Scream 2 was actually
yeah.
a very good movie.
Yeah,
It's
no.
oddly well made.
No,
It's like-
I
It's weird.
I
How, like people
adore-
look back at them now and think they're like cheap movies. I'm like, they were the first two at least were really kind of cutting edge in terms of like, what is it? It's not really self-parody, but self-referential kind of.
right.
Or,
But I adore Scream 2. It's really good to me. It was really good.
I genuinely find the opening of Scream 2, you know, when they're in the movie theater
Yeah.
and Jada Pinkett Smith gets it,
Mm-hmm.
that's genuinely unsettling because there's something about being murdered around a bunch of people, like or in a
terrifying.
crowded area that somehow freaks me out. And there's another movie too from the 80s called Demons that starts off with like a demon possession in a movie theater, and like it's really fucking that movie creeps me out. It gets really silly and stupid toward the middle and the end, but like the beginning is fucking terrifying. I don't know what it is, and then it gets really dumb. But anything where like people are getting like fucked up in a public place, like in The Wolfman, that 2011 movie. Not so good, but when like he transforms in front of everybody. I like movies when like fucked up shit is happening in a crowd. Hellraiser 3, not a very good movie with Terry Farrell, but there's a scene in a nightclub where people are getting massacred by razor sharp CDs.
Oh.
And I'm like, man, I love like public horror chaos shit. Like, just get off it. I don't know what it is, but
Interesting.
oh, how did I get into this? What were we talking about?
No, we were talking about Scream. We were talking about the
Scream. Yeah, the Jada
the,
Pinkett Smith theater scene. I love that. One of the
Yeah,
best.
but you also have to mention the first kill in that movie with the knife through the stall door.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's great stuff. I mean, that's probably not possible, but
They made fun of that scary movie where it's it's something else being stabbed through a person's skull.
yeah. I actually don't like those scary movies because the Scream franchise is my favorite horror franchise of all time, and for me, I feel that I just don't like those movies.
Are you a fan of Wes Craven's New Nightmare, which was the prototype for Scream, basically?
Yeah, I really like New Nightmare. I'm not like super crazy about it, but it's good to me.
I don't find that it's a scary movie at all. There's one part where, the babysitter is getting dragged up the wall by glowing eyes Freddy in the what is it, the trench coat. That's the one part of the movie that's weird and unsettling. Everything else is like,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, part 2 and part 3 used to terrify me when I was a kid.
Really?
Something about those two particular movies. Even the first one wasn't like the part where he cuts open his stomach and there's bugs and stuff, and he's like, I am God. Like the way he acts in the first one it's not even a thing, but like he's really dark but comical in the second one, like when he rips the skin off of his head and he shows, you've got the body, I've got the brains, and he sounds and looks really gruesome. And then in the third one, when he turned the opening scene when the sink turns into claws and grabs Patricia Arquette's wrists and like slices her wrist, and the blood goes splattering all over the mirror, and her mother walks in, you just see like the blood gushing from her wrists. And the part where he takes the veins out of the dude and uses them as a puppet. Like, to this day, that shit is like, ugh. It's cringy.
Terrifying. It's terrifying.
The funniest moment, welcome to prime time, bitch. And he smashes her head into the TV. Like,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Mm-hmm. No, yeah, but I'm really excited for some reason for Scream 5. I'm really excited for that.
Scream 4 wasn't bad either. I mean, they've never made a bad one. I've never watched a Scream movie and said, that was terrible. 3 is probably the weakest.
Yeah, 3 is just okay to me because like I'm like my favorite writer of all time is Kevin Williamson. So 3 to me is fine, but I think that's just me speaking from the fact that he didn't write it. That's me being a tight ass. But I love Scream 4 because before I went to go see the movie, I said to myself, it would be really cool if Kevin made the killer a woman. And
I think Emma Roberts in that movie is so good, and I think that as a result of that movie, she was always typecast as some psychotic person and everything.
Really?
Like, whether it's American Horror Story or anything else, she's never good. She's always some like nasty person that I've ever seen her in. I haven't seen her in like a nice role.
Father,
she's good at playing a psycho, man. She's Eric Roberts' daughter. Julia Roberts' niece.
Father, are you caught up with Loki? Did you finally finish it? Father, are you even there?
He's not there.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm caught up.
you are. What's your Blue wants to know, what about Loki final verdict? Is Father's Father-y, yeah, that is you. Caught up with that.
Your new name is Fathers now.
Fathers, are you caught up? What's your final verdict on Loki?
thought it was good. I'm a little disappointed that Kang, who is like a really cool villain in the comics, that like it looks like they're setting him up to be kind of a big deal on the TV shows. But I thought he deserved to be like the next Thanos. Like I felt like he deserved like an Avengers movie.
You do know that's not the King, right? That's going to be the central figure in the cinematic universe. He is the version that they call He Who Remains, but he says like he even acknowledges the other versions of me are like you don't want to mess with those guys, and one of them will be one of those Kangs. That is not him, obviously. It can't be because he's dead now. But spoilers, he's going to be the villain in Quantum Mania, which is the third Ant-Man movie. And wherever he goes from there, I don't know what else he's appearing in. He may be in Guardians 3.
You think he'll be in Multiverse of Madness?
They're setting him up, or at least the version that they're going to introduce in Quantum Mania. They will not introduce the main Kang in the TV show. This Kang this version you saw at the end of Loki was like a tease of like, okay, there's the actor. So our theories were right about Kang, but they don't call him Kang. He does say he's been called a conqueror, though. So it's very safe to assume that yes, that is Kang. But like he says, like there's other versions of me that are coming, and I don't know if in Quantumania we'll have more than one Kang. Could be like they defeat one
There is
Kang,
supposed to be a
and then all of a
council
sudden
of-
there's another one.
There is supposed to be a council of Kangs, which are many versions of Kang that come together and judge you, right?
Kang.
Blue also has a question for Ruben, which is, what video game is Ruben playing? I like to look at Ruben's. What video game are you playing?
Wake up, Ruben.
You better wake up, because we need a man.
What's that in
I
the
am
background?
playing
That's pretty cool.
Swords of Legends Online.
He has in the background the katana from Highlander, if I'm not mistaken. That is the Connor McLeod's katana.
Yep.
Cool.
Wait, what are you playing? I missed it completely. I was too distracted by the katana.
Swords of Legends Online.
Swords of Legends Online. I heard that's a good game.
It sounds like
Are you
it's
trying your best? Because
narrated.
losers always whine about their best.
Winners go home and fuck the prom queen.
Welcome to the Rock.
I'm happy there's gonna be a Loki season 2, but I'm afraid it's gonna be like in 3 or 4 years. Like how? Like what's gonna? Like,
You know the problem?
Well, they turned around the Mandalorian pretty fast, so
that's true.
There's also the theory that they filmed enough for 2 seasons and that season 2 could come
Oh yeah, we talked about that a little bit. That's right.
before Shang-Chi or the next movie where the multiverse madness matters somehow, because who knows how this will play into Far From Home or No Way Home, sorry, Spider-Man No Way Home, which apparently deals with the consequences of a multiverse being unleashed. Doctor Strange also apparently deals with that exact subject, and Quantumania also deals. So Loki has spawned this thing. I don't know how they can do this 6 episodes, which doesn't feel like a full season, by the way. It literally feels like the mid-season break.
Right.
It doesn't feel like a full season. So, I mean, I can't see them coming back and picking right up where that left off, having two or 3 Marvel movies already go by that deal with that. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I think Loki needs to come first, and I don't think you need to depend on Loki to understand what's going to happen in the later films, but they'll explain it somehow, I think. But
Blue's asking which of the 3 shows are your favorite and least favorite. Last week we went through this, but I think my order is the same. I like Falcon or Captain America and the Winter Soldier the most.
it's Falcon and the Winter Soldier.
I know it is until the end.
Wait, sorry.
It's the Falcon and
The
and
Falcon,
the
sorry,
Winter
and then okay, we're fine. That's my favorite. Then it's Loki. Then it's WandaVision. Even it's tough. Loki and
Okay.
WandaVision are kind of neck and neck.
Mine's the opposite. Mine's the exact opposite of Sohel's.
Oh, so
What is yours? Go ahead. I didn't hear Sohail's. I blanked out for a second.
So mine is WandaVision's the best, and then I guess Loki's the second best, and then the Falcon and the Winter Soldier is the worst.
is the worst of the three.
My order is different. Mine is WandaVision is the best, followed by the Falcon and the Winter Soldier,
Yeah.
and then Loki. Loki is, there's things about that show I just can't wrap my mind around. It doesn't feel complete. It doesn't feel like I've watched a full thing.
Yeah. Marcelo, do you have a ranking? Oh, sorry, PJ, finish.
No, I was done.
Yeah, my ranking is WandaVision, Loki, and then Falcon and the Winter Soldier. So I'm with Father on this one.
Well, I'm changing to be with
I
PJ.
have my
Oh, come on! You can't leave
I
me
have
like
my
that.
rankings too.
What are your rankings?
My least favorite is WandaVision because she takes the town hostage and she's supposed to be the hero. My second least favorite is Falcon and Winter Soldier because Falcon looks ridiculous in a costume, and why is he holding a shield? It makes no fucking sense. Give the guy a helmet, he's flying, for crying out loud. And my favorite is Loki because that soundtrack is fire.
Yeah, the soundtrack is fire. And you did it. Are you allowed to talk about that? Yeah, you already talked about that.
Yeah, my interview was approved, so it should be up. My interview with Natalie Holt, the composer of Loki.
Oh, cool.
Ooh,
The
nice.
soundtrack for Volume 2 of the soundtrack came out today. I'll throw a little plug out for that. So, if you want to get the soundtrack.
It is a really great sound. It's a really great score. Yeah,
it's
it's
a
really cool.
amazing score.
It's fun to just like have it on
And it
and
uses one
drive
of my
and
favorite instruments of all time.
stuff. The theremin.
Yeah, boy.
Oh wow.
Not
Yeah,
only
those
did they
just-
use a theremin, they used a 1929 RCA designed by theremin.
No, like so it's an
Wow.
original
Yeah.
instrument. That's so
Read
cool.
more on my interview coming soon.
Wow.
Wow,
Yeehaw!
that's great. Wow. You should
Wow.
try. Could you interview Owen Wilson and could you get him on this show?
Oh, and I was like, oh yeah.
Well, you can talk to
Sure,
his
I
I
can try
think,
it,
I
I
think
guess.
you can do that. Yeah,
I could try it. Yeah,
you can
yeah.
try.
We could talk to who, Fathery? To Luke Wilson?
Yeah, his brother is the stepdad on Stargirl. That new season is coming in a few
Oh,
days,
cool.
right? That's coming like August 10th, I think.
Wait a second, Luke Wilson's on TV? That's insane.
You didn't know he was on
No.
He was
Stargirl?
on that 70s show.
I didn't realize that either.
Yeah, Stargirl's really good. Like y'all should be watching Stargirl.
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 Speaking
is
of
awesome.
So
Texans-
bright in the sky tonight, Stargirl.
Speaking of Texans, they're all Texans, right? The Wilsons? Yeah, they're Dallas born.
Who are the Wilsons?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, the Wilsons.
And so is the girl who plays Stargirl, who plays Courtney
That's right.
Whitmore.
That's right.
So is Texas secretly stealing Hollywood? Is Hollywood going to move to Texas? Like, what's going on?
God, I hope not. There's already enough Californians moving to Austin.
He's so over it.
Georgia's
The
the number one production
Californians.
state right now.
Georgia's what? Sorry?
Georgia's the number one production state.
Really?
Yeah, they shoot all the Marvel stuff.
And
All the
shoot
Marvel
basically
Studios
everything in
stuff is
Georgia.
there.
All the Walking
And
Dead.
Stargirl. They shoot Stargirl there too. Black Lightning was shot there.
And they only feed the crew and the cast with Georgia peaches,
They all get peach cobbler.
peach cobbler, and Georgia peaches.
There is a Peachtree
Anything with
Lane or a
peach in it.
Peachtree Way in
There's like 100 Peachtree Ways in Georgia.
in Georgia. It's true. Peachtree Tower, I think. There's a Peachtree Tower.
There's a Peachtree Street, I think, in every city I drove to.
All the peach trees around here, I'm sure, died during snowpocalypse.
Oh shit!
It's funny, like all of the palm
Snowpocalypse.
trees. I hate palm trees. Like every time I see a palm tree, I get mad. It like ruins my day. I can't stand them. But I'm so happy now because every palm tree in Austin is dead. They all like the
Oh,
snowpocalypse.
no.
killed
Oh
all
my
of them.
god!
Where have all the palm trees gone?
They're dead.
They're not supposed to be this far inland. I don't like them.
Palm trees can
You
be
go
in the
back to your own place of worship, you damn palm trees.
Go back to the beach.
Well, I didn't even know. I don't know anything about what trees are in certain states, but I didn't think there would be palm trees in Texas. I don't know why, but
Yeah, well,
There are palm trees in Scotland. If Geek and Review's still watching, there's like a weird thing that happens with the jet stream that makes part of Scotland habitable for palm trees, and so they have palm trees in Scotland, which is crazy.
is that where they all go and get so red?
the does anyone want to guess what the national tree of Texas is?
I have no idea.
If I had to
A barbecue
guess,
steak tree.
what?
A big old truck tree.
Every
Every time I think Texas, I think manly and big and rustic.
I think it's. I'm gonna guess that it's the oak tree.
No,
What is it?
the pecan tree.
Pecan.
Oh, that's cool.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do y'all have a pecan tree in your neighborhood? Like
The house that my mom lived in, there was a bunch in the backyard, and we'd always like some people would like come up to us and be like, "Can I pick pecans out of your yard?" And they would like pick a bunch of pecans, and they would give half to us, and then keep half for themselves.
Anybody ever call them pecans?
pecan.
Let's say pecan.
You could say pecan
Pecan.
or pecan. I've heard pecan.
I've heard pecan.
That's weird.
Pecan pie. I
Pecan
don't know
pie,
where
yeah.
they say it, but I've
Pecan
heard
pie is good. Pecan pie is legit. Pecan pie and peach cobbler. Those are legit desserts.
Newfoundlanders say pecan, like when they say pecan pie. But I think if you say like just pecan, people do say pecan. But when they say talking about the pie, they're like, "Want some pecan pie?" I'm like, I hate it. I don't like it at all. But people like it, so I don't like pecans.
I
Or
don't like
pecans, sorry,
either.
pecans.
No,
Pecans, Mr. Frenchman.
Oh,
Oh, we have a message
bon-
from.
Bonjour, bicyclette.
We have a.
should I tell you about Dune? I went to
Yeah.
the
shit,
press
yeah.
junket.
How
Did you
funny!
see the preview?
Starfleet Boy After Dark also just mentioned. Did y'all talk about Dune already? So
No, we didn't. Let's talk about Dune. Can we do
Did
that?
you see
Because
the? Did
I
you see
didn't-
the previews, Father?
Yes,
No,
Father
I
got a
saw-
special thing. That you got to
I
see.
went to the press junket for Dune on Wednesday night, and it was an IMAX. I saw the first 10 minutes of the movie, and I saw another scene from. If you're familiar with the Lynch version or the Sci-Fi Channel version or the book, the spice harvester scene. If you know what I'm talking about, they showed that whole sequence. They had some behind the scenes stuff with Hans Zimmer, the composer, and some other behind the scenes stuff. And then they also had the premiere of the trailer the day before everyone else got to see it. So that was pretty cool. I actually like wrote up a description. I don't know if y'all want me to.
I'd like to hear that. Yeah, let's do
Go
it.
ahead.
I don't know how much y'all care about Dune or care about listening to
No.
what I have to say.
I love Dune, man. Anyway, go ahead.
Okay.
I have
wait for-
absolutely no interest in it, but I will watch this movie. But I'll tell you right now, it's
What?
not going to do anything at the box office.
What?
Oh,
That's your
hell
PJ,
no.
don't say that. PJ, don't
Dude,
break my
you gotta
heart, man.
realize
Don't do it.
Denis Villeneuve makes expensive movies that don't make their money back. It's just that simple.
Yeah, I said
Because
PJs.
because but this is a good thing.
This is a good thing. What are you
No, listen to me. Just like you gotta let me
Okay.
finish my
Well,
point.
Well, it is. You need
All right.
somebody to
Okay.
make these movies.
All right,
Because to make movies, especially sci-fi movies or big budget action movies and whatnot, that will appeal to such a broad audience that they will make like $1 billion or something. They have to be done. This is a fact. This is a fact now. They have to be dumbed down to a certain degree. Denis Villeneuve makes thinking person's movies. Not to say that like only smart people can watch them or anything like that, but like he actually makes movies that like ask something of the audience, like as opposed to just like spoon feeding you something like Arrival. Like it's a movie we got to think about, and it's very logical and like it takes. He does these movies where the story takes precedent over like the moral like point they're trying to get across or the theme. It's like it tries to be as grounded and realistic as possible. And before Father restarts, although I'm not interested in the Dune saga in any way, shape, or form, because he is directing it, I want to see what approach he takes and like how realistic you could make this like far out future fucking story about like these warring factions or families or whatever in the spice melange, and like, which I know very little about, but like this new trailer does something that trailers for Denis Villeneuve movies don't do often, like with Blade Runner 2049, is they don't give you an idea of what it's about. So like, I didn't really know what 2049 was about till I saw it, because the trailer didn't do shit. Same thing with Arrival. Didn't really get a sense of that movie till I saw it. This is the first time I'm seeing something from him where I actually understand the story, like the basic setup. And I'm like, wow, this is like a good story. I'm interested in seeing it. And the fucking action and special effects seem like top notch. So anyway, go ahead.
Well, the scenes that I saw, actually, it looked like the most like approachable of any of the movies of his that I've ever seen, which that very much surprised me.
Could this be the new Star Wars?
I don't know. That's what they're hoping for. The thing is, it's important for this movie to make money because this isn't the entire book. They're only adapting half
First
the
half.
book. And
this is not even the entire first book, so it's going to be it has to be part 2 if you want the first book finished.
Right,
and what you're saying.
And it actually, like the title card at the beginning of the movie, it actually says part 1. So they're letting audiences know right from the very beginning of the movie that, yeah, this is intended to be part 1 of a 2-part, at least 2 parts.
Even David Lynch's Dune kind of blends into maybe the second novel or something like that. It's not just the first, right? Like, or something, I forget.
Not really. I mean, like
okay.
they have Edric show up at the very beginning, but his name's only in the script.
Apparently Zendaya's character is in very
Chani.
little of the movie, and she's in a lot of the trailer, which is weird to me. Or like they showing a lot of the latter half of the movie. You know what I mean?
She's actually, like, the movie opens with her. It makes a big deal about her at the very beginning of the movie.
It doesn't open with Virginia Madsen?
Okay, so
Just kidding.
her interaction with Timothée Chalamet though has to come like toward the end of that movie, right? Because I've heard like that's like in the middle of the book.
Yeah, like I'm guessing like they meet in the. Well, it's weird if you're, and I don't want to spoil it for people that aren't familiar with the story, but
I feel like Dune's been out for a while. Like
yeah,
a
but
yeah.
if
The
someone,
giant butthole.
If someone wants to experience it for the first time with this movie, I think they
deserve a chance.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
don't tell 'em.
there's just there's a lot of prescience, like viewing the future and like dreams and stuff, and so I think we'll see her a lot that way in the first half of the movie, and then see her in person in the second half of the movie. Is what I suspect. But yeah, what they showed us like starting off was it was like 30 minutes worth of footage altogether, and it kicked off with like the sizzle reel of some shots from the movie, but also some of the actors just like talking, and they really seem to be pretty happy about, like, it was more than like your typical like Hollywood hype. Like, they seemed to like really believe in this movie. Oscar Isaacs and Jason Momoa were both saying some things in particular. I was like, oh yeah, these guys are like, they sound like they're legitimately excited about this.
The cast is absolutely stellar. Like Dave Bautista, Jason Momoa, Timothée Chalamet, Sarsgaard, fucking
Rebecca Ferguson.
Rebecca Ferguson.
Yeah, Josh Brolin.
Josh Brolin. He like it. I really got a sense of his character in the new trailer. I was like, oh, he's interesting, and I didn't get that in the first one. And this stuff here, like this, like techno armor stuff, which is a kind of a trope now in things, but you know what I mean. This is a different take.
What's this from the? Is this anything from the book?
I think this is the Fata Keen Death Commandos.
Yeah, but his armor was always gold. I don't remember that. Like, there's a Sardaukar. Sardaukar belongs to the Emperor and the Fata Keen. That's right. I remember now.
He becomes like a tragic.
The Fremen when he trains his Fremen army.
Yeah, no,
he's a flawed and tragic character as a whole. Like in
well,
in his journey throughout the books, right? Like he's
he's
not just like he's not like your typical hero that does everything, makes all the right choices, right?
No, he's supposed to be kind of a flawed, tragic character.
Yeah. Throughout as the books go along, he becomes a little bit
Messed up.
Yeah,
they get more into that in the second book, but I
Yeah.
think that's what the plan is here, what they're building to, because the thing opens with Cheney and the Fremen, and you really get a sense of who they are as a people. Like the world building is so well done that there is like it's a masterclass in like world building. They explain so much so quickly, so efficiently. You get a huge sense of these people. They're oppressed on a desert planet. The Harkonnens are occupying their home. They're exploiting their resources. They convey all of that very clearly. And then there's Batista as the villain, the Beast Raban.
Raban.
He's
Yeah.
the oppressor. His family is occupying this desert world and stealing their resources, mining the spice from the desert, and it's all it's all so atmospheric. It's kind of like Blade Runner. I can only compare it to like that opening of Blade Runner, where you see the future Los Angeles, and it is both like so surreal and otherworldly, but it feels like it could actually be a real place, just like not a real place in our reality. It's like that type of vibe. It's like this crazy level of atmosphere.
Can I say something about Villeneuve's approach to 49? Because I think that's a better movie than the original. And I think he has a real eye for he knows how to be faithful, because he took that 2019 future that like doesn't exist, and he extrapolated on that and created a world from that. So it's like not our 2049, it's the 2049 from that time. And
that's the scene I saw.
I think he'll do, if anything, he'll do this justice. I just wonder, because stupid Warner Bros. Made the mistake of putting this on HBO Max the same day. It's gonna probably do really well first week, like Black Widow did, like Space Jam 2 did, and then just fall the frig off, like really quickly.
So, can you back it up to that previous picture?
Giant
That was one of
bomb.
the scenes I saw. Was the spice harvester, and you don't even see the sandworm, but you get such a sense of it, just like the approach of the sandworm. It was enough to make you be like, oh my god, I can see why these desert dwelling people would worship Shai Hulud, and it benefited so much from the IMAX experience, and that's why I tell everyone, like, you're robbing yourself of this movie if you try to watch it on HBO Max. Like, you need to see this on the biggest screen possible. If you can get to a theater,
but what if you can't?
well, if you
What do you mean,
can't,
like
then
there's no IMAX? Then go to the biggest screen you can
Yeah.
find.
Okay, good, because I hear everybody saying that, but nobody's like.
It's not gonna. A lot of people are not gonna go.
I'm a disabled individual, and I would love to go see this movie in a movie theater or in IMAX, but I can't. So I'm like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They don't have a section in Cineplex. They have.
But the reason why I can't go is because my electric wheelchair is broken, so that's why I can't go.
Oh, well,
okay.
Marcelo, we need to get you a GoFundMe going or something like that.
No, but I'm sorry. I just
That's not.
kinda,
No, you need
I
to
kind of
apologize.
yeah. I kind
I
of lost
get
my
what you're
mind there
saying.
for a second.
I get what
Sorry.
you're saying, but yeah, let's get you. Talk to me offline. We'll figure it out. But is
Yeah,
this
it's all
supposed to be Jessica?
that's Jessica. That's on Caladan, and that's the
That's his mother, right?
locations. Yeah, the locations are so beautiful. Like, the desert stuff is really breathtaking and amazing. But they also do a great job with the stuff on Caladan. Like, here we see like the Atreides army, and they're like near the ocean. They're up in the mountains. There's all like these huge green trees, and it is very breathtaking. Like, the bigger screen you can see this on, I think the more the scope and scale of this will be effective.
Marcelo, one thing, if you can't make it to the movie theater, I have the Google, the little where you put your phone, and it's insane when it's like that close to your eyes. It also is probably doing damage to your retina, but still, it's pretty awesome to watch it that way, especially if you tune into headphones. Blue is asking, will we see Irulan and the Emperor? I
don't think either character will show up. I don't think Fade Rotha will, unless they just like bring him in at like the end of the movie. It's like a tease for the sequel. But I don't think we'll see any of the three of them at all in this.
Blue, Dune. That's Irulan, and Irulan's one of my favorite. Virginia Madsen. I asked about her earlier.
Can I?
Yeah, but
yeah,
I'm
go
probably
ahead.
sorry. I'm probably gonna end up watching Dune on HBO Max, and I'm probably gonna watch it on my 4K TV in my in my house. So that's not so bad.
I will likely rent it. Literally the only movie I am planning on seeing this year in the theater is No Time to Die, and that's it.
Really?
Like not even Spider-Man No Way Home or anything.
I
don't
cannot
know.
wait for No Time to Die. I'm sorry, BJ.
Yeah, it's like not
Ruben.
only do I not like movie theater experiences,
Really?
I haven't seen a movie since 2019's Rise of Skywalker, so No Time to Die will be the first. But I will rent it. I mean, I will contribute to the rental of the movie because we don't have HBO Max, but you can just rent it on Google Play or a number of places. You can just rent it in 4K and watch it then. But
Ruben, have you been back to the
I
movie
may change
theater?
my mind and go see it in IMAX.
You
I don't
should
know.
see it. You should.
I would
change your
really
mind.
recommend it. And
Yeah.
if you want sequels to this movie, like it really needs to have like a strong box office. Those
Can I also-
first 2 weekends are going to determine if they make more Dune movies or not.
But you know what? I think they would, even if, because there's something about this director that I haven't seen with any other director where
He's got a spell on Hollywood.
he's got a spell on Hollywood where they recognize that he's so talented and he's like
He
literally
is an
probably
insanely
the
great
best
director.
out there right now in terms of
He's among
just
the best, for
precision
sure.
filmmaking. That they know that they always give him a lot of money with Blade Runner 2049 and Arrival and I'm blanking on another movie, but and this one. But it's almost like, yeah, we're not going to make our money back on this because it's so. I don't mean to sound like an elite. It's highbrow stuff. Like he does make highbrow sci-fi that not everybody will totally like be into. Like people talk about that David Lynch Dune. I think that's a terrible garbage movie.
What?
Not because it's based on Dune, because it's all over the place and it's really gross. And it's a fascinating movie to watch in segments, like certain scenes with like there's a scene with
I think
Sting
it's a
that's fucking hilarious.
masterpiece.
There's a fight scene with Patrick Stewart and the main character that's cool. There's certain parts of the movie that are interesting. Like
I am the
as a
shut
whole
up
to sit
mates.
down and watch it, I
Linda
can't stand
Hunt.
it. I can't. Stand
You don't
it.
like Linda Hunt as Shut Up Mapes, the housekeeper?
It's actually like kind of accurate to the book, but it's just like it's the spirit of everything so wrong. It's like such like a misinterpretation of the book.
And like the guys with the pugs and stuff. Like there's such weirdness in that movie.
Yeah,
that,
The pugs.
that I
forgot
love.
about the
I love
pugs.
David Lynchian kind of shit. Like I love Twin Peaks and all that, but and Eraserhead and that kind of thing. But
There's a
this
strange
Dune
new
is the
world.
one David Lynch thing where I'm just like, no, thank you.
You know what's funny, PJ, is I was talking about this to Dave and Sohel just a couple of hours ago. And sorry, Sohel, I want to repeat myself from what I was telling you earlier.
Oh, you're
but
all right.
when I was watching some of the footage that they showed me from Dune, there's such a that sense of like everything is so giant and just overwhelming, and seeing like the spice harvesters mining the spice and the bassy sounds that it's making, and the really bizarre Hans Zimmer score that I can talk about more in a moment. But there was such a surrealness to it that it kind of made me uncomfortable in a kind of like a David Lynchian way, and it made me think as I was just observing this, watching it for the first time. It made me think, oh, this has kind of a David Lynch vibe to it. It made me think this is actually wait. David Lynch made a Dune movie, and this kind of feels more David Lynchian than David Lynch's Dune movie.
Would you say that it feels like Lynchian in a more mature way? Like it's almost like he's trying to honor the spirit of that, but be his own. Like
Yeah, in that same
people talk about-
conversation.
people talk about this interpretation of Dune having peak what they call verisimilitude. Peak verisimilitude meaning that this is the most realistic possible interpretation that's been done to date. Like it doesn't, it's not so out there like the David Lynch version that it puts an audience member like me off. I mean, this movie looks like it is coherent in that I can understand it. When I watched the original, like I was just like, what? Huh?
The David Lynch
What?
version.
That's all I was doing the whole movie.
The thing about the David Lynch version is if you watch it enough times, it becomes somehow it magically becomes coherent. Real quick shout out to this actor
It
whose name
seeps
is
into your veins.
Babs Olusanmoken, and he is playing
He's
a character.
Jameis, right?
Yeah, Jameis, and he is playing a
In
character.
Strange New Worlds.
in
We
Strange
think he
New
might be
Worlds.
Dr. Umbinga.
Yeah,
Yeah, he is the doctor. Yeah.
you sure? That's confirmed. I didn't realize.
I'm assuming. I'm sorry.
Do you guys
He is a doctor, but he might not be that doctor.
Right.
do you guys think we're gonna see Dr. Boyce or right? That's his name, right?
No, I don't think so. Because they have too many white people with Spock and number one.
Oh my
not it.
god!
That's
With
not
Spock
the
and-
reason.
I didn't want to.
No, but like half of the cast is already like white people. Like they probably want to like make the rest like a little bit more diverse. I mean, you're
Okay,
stuck with Pike and number one and Spock. So
Okay.
I think
He's-
Dr. Boyce would be.
It's the
too
way you
much.
said it's like they're stuck with those three
I
white leads. We got to do something about that.
Dude, guys, I didn't want to start some shit. I just had to.
Wait, there's no
But-
what shit are you talking? Starting any real quick question going back to Dune, Martian. Dune in the movie theater. Have you gone to the movies to see a movie yet? Have you gone to the movie theater to see a movie yet?
Who are you talking to?
To Ruben.
The last mainstream movie I saw in a theater was the first Wonder Woman movie. Other
Oh,
than
so
that, I've only
so
gone to indie theaters.
So should we do Dune in IMAX?
Eh,
Could we do? Could I? I'll elaborate later. Could we do
we could
Dune
do
in an?
on my house on HBO Max.
Could we do Dune in IMAX at a drinking movie theater?
Oh, like one of those like Cine Bistro or whatever they're called.
Yeah, like we could have a few drinks, or you can do your thing and I'll do some drinks
The
I
Alamo
recommend
Draft
we.
House.
I recommend we all watch. We all find a way to watch it that day,
that day. Yeah, for
or
sure.
if Thursday, if you go see the Thursday show, and Starfleet Boy After Dark that Friday would just all
do
be about
the
Dune
Spectacular.
spoilers.
Yeah.
I agree.
I have a Dune.
I'll do that.
here in Austin. That if anyone wants
Yeah,
to
he
join
does.
us on Facebook, it's ATX Dune Club. And if you're in or near the Austin area, we're gonna go see it at the Bob Bullock Museum IMAX Theater. That is the largest screen in the state of Texas, and we're gonna watch it there. So if anyone wants to join, then hit up the Facebook group. It's ATX Dune Club. And PJ, if I can add something to what you were saying about like the incoherence of the Lynch movie, I was surprised at some of these clips how much there is kind of a naturalistic type of dialogue between some of the characters that is not in the trailers at all. The trailers do not show this, but the way that it showed like the Atreides characters near the beginning of the movie talking to each other, the way that like Duke Leto talks to his men, Thufir and Gurney, and the way that Jessica and Paul talk to each other, and they feel like an actual like mother and son. It's all way more
Natural.
I think palatable to like a
Yeah.
mainstream audience than not only Denny's previous movies, but also like any previous attempt at Dune.
Well, one of the things I find irritating about the Lynch movie is that everybody talks in this grand theatrical,
Right.
like I want to steal the show kind of fucking attitude, and it's like everybody has this like regal golden rod up their ass, and it's
Yeah,
like
weird formality.
I don't
to
even know what I
everything.
just said, but it's this weird formality that doesn't feel real. Like nothing feels real
They don't
in that
do
movie.
that though. They don't do that. It, like there is a scene of the Duke and you see a bit of this in the trailer, but like the Duke and Paul talking to each other, and they feel like a real father. And so like what stood out to me is like he calls him dad. He's not like, oh, my father, my Lord Father Duke or something like that. He's like,
My Lord
okay,
Father,
Dad. But, yeah, I was like,
please
oh, that's
advise
really
me on the
weird.
best course of action.
It was
Why,
a weird
yes, and I
little good way,
will.
though.
I will advise you.
Yeah. Did you hear any of the score from Hans Zimmer?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
that's-
so let me tell you about that, because they had like this whole segment on the score, and it starts off with like Hans Zimmer like being interviewed, and he's talking about like also growing up, I would go to all these science fiction movies, and they would all have like these brassy horns on all these faraway galaxies, and I would think, why do they have the same instruments as we have on Earth? So I created my own instruments for the score. And so yeah, like he claims that like he's created like his own musical instruments to create like the most alien sounding film score ever, and it has a lot of vocalization. If you watch like the end of that new trailer, you can actually like hear like this woman like singing. Like there's a lot of like weird
Kratos,
vocalization like
Dominus.
It's actually
Yeah,
not that common. I've interviewed over 100 composers now. It's not actually that uncommon. Not to create your own instruments, usually through the computer. But I've spoken to some who've physically created like new instruments to get a sound.
Oh,
That's
cool.
really cool. I
Hans
didn't know that they
Zimmer's-
did that.
Hans Zimmer's very much on the cutting edge of shit. So, yeah, I interviewed a composer once who, to get a specific sound, he ordered tank shells from World War II that were unused, hollowed out tank shells, so like giant bullets, basically. He ordered these bullets and then like hit them with like a wrench or something, recorded that, and then sampled it. And just to get that specific kind of sound, it's fucking
Wow.
bizarre shit, but it's really cool.
Mm.
That's crazy. No, because actually somebody took the song from the Dune trailer that came out yesterday and looped it, and I've been listening to that thing all day long. The thing is great.
Yeah, I want to buy this. I'm so like riding this movie's dick right now after some of the stuff they showed me. Like I want to buy
All right,
the
Kevin
vinyl.
Smith.
I want to buy the vinyl of this score on whenever it comes out. I want to see it in IMAX. I want to buy all of the. I forgot who's doing the. I think it's maybe McFarlane is doing like the toy line, but I want to get like the toys. I'm not even like a big toy guy, but I want to get like the toys of the characters. Like I'm really excited about this movie.
Yeah, no, I actually I'm talking to a friend of mine right now who is going to do a drawing of this movie from something I saw in the trailer yesterday. So I'm really excited too. I can't wait. I'm a huge fan of Denis Villeneuve's work, so I'm really excited. Yeah, good stuff.
And Chalamet's narration of like killing my family one by one, like it's a very well made, coherent trailer that I was like, yes, finally, this is something that like the layman could watch and get into, as opposed to like these other like ominous trailers that just show you images all like discombobulated. You don't really know what the hell you're watching, but it's interesting nonetheless. But still, the audience needs to be invested in the story or the character somewhat. And like, you get enough of that, I think.
You know, like the voice, like the Bene Gesserit voice in Dune, the Bene Gesserit sisterhood. They have that ability where they can
Picard
command
ripped
you.
them
with
off,
a
didn't they?
certain- Who ripped them off?
Picard, they have their own version of the Bene Gesserit, don't they?
I would say that that Star Wars ripped off Dune before anyone else, but
Oh yeah.
yeah, like kind of like Obi-Wan Kenobi doing the Jedi mind trick. It's kind of like that, but it's more like scientific in Dune. It's like they have a way of like augmenting their voice that if you hear it, like you're forced to obey their command. And one of the things that the Lynch movie got so wrong is that it would make the Bene Gesserit seem like magical. Like they're like telepathic or something. Like they have like some supernatural abilities. That's not how it's supposed to work at all. And I always wondered, like, well, how would you actually like illustrate something like the voice, like through the language of cinema, and make it come off accurate to the book? And he figured out a technique, because they show that in like the first 10 minutes of the movie when it's trying to do all the world building, explain the characters, the motivations, the universe, all of that stuff to the audience, and they show how the voice works. And it was such a clever, simple idea, and it didn't feel like magic. And I was very, very impressed.
The Jodorowsky Dune thing was something that was in development that never
Yeah.
happened.
I actually was just watching that documentary last night. Yeah, Jodorowsky's Dune, which would have
Yeah,
been
it's a
a
really good
totally
documentary.
batshit take. Yeah, that would have been that wouldn't even have been Dune. That would have been something totally different. It has nothing to do with the book. It just has like some of the characters have the same names, and spice, I guess,
It's
is a
like David
thing.
Lynch ain't got nothing on me. I'm gonna make it really incoherent.
Yeah, for real. Everyone look up that documentary though. It's crazy.
What's it called again?
Jodorowsky's Dune.
Jodorowsky's in. Okay.
It was made like it was made a while ago now. It was like 15 years ago that was made, wasn't it?
A little more
Well,
recently,
I said
within
it
the
was
last
like
10
six-
years.
Yeah, it was like 6 years ago. Or something.
I'm gonna say second term Obama.
2013. Okay,
Okay, like I was right.
8 years.
Yeah, that's some of the that's not even the crazy stuff. That's the most normal looking design out of all the concept art for that movie.
Didn't some of that artwork influence Alien?
Star Wars. It influenced a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
This is this huge comic book artist, Mobius, is a big deal. Really incredible French artist. He storyboarded that entire movie in pretty significant detail. So there was a lot of art that went into it.
That looks funky.
By the way, HBO Max is making a Dune spin-off
Yeah.
show
Yeah,
About
the
the-
Sisterhood of Dune, right?
They are.
about the Dora Melange. I mean,
No.
wait.
No, they're not.
About the Bene Gesserit. It's
The
based on
the
one of
Bene
the
Gesserit.
Brian Herbert and Kevin J. Anderson novels. So after Frank Herbert died, his son Brian started writing some Dune novels with Kevin J. Anderson, and Sisterhood of Dune is a prequel that's set like thousands of years earlier, and it's like the early days of the Bene Gesserit.
So
What are they called in Picard?
The Co-op Malat.
Co-op a lot, yeah. They are actually Disney Plus is actually making a show about the Dora Milaje. That's what I got confused
You're
about.
thinking of the Kwisatz Haderach, and that's why it sounds like the co-op Milat.
We're seeing a lot
which-
of weird words.
Father, I have a question for you. Is Paul I can't remember from the books because it's been such a long time, and I didn't read all of the books, unfortunately. But Paul is not actually the Kwisatz Haderach. It's Leto the Second, right?
He is.
He
Paul,
is?
Paul is the Kwisatz Haderach, but he doesn't. He chooses not to go on the Golden Path. Prevent Trolazek. So that's what Leto the Second does.
Okay. Interesting.
The Kwisatz Haderach was just they wanted a boy who could survive the Water of Life transformation and become basically like a male
Should I-
Reverend Mother.
Should I tell you guys my Water of Life story from when I was like a younger person?
Water of Life.
why not?
Yeah, so like
Oh, is that the time you drank your own pee? I remember.
no, I didn't. What? Excuse me?
That was
That
weird.
that never happened. But Ruben, you might have been
Story.
Ruben, you might have been at this party. I
Where you
so the-
drink
You
your
drank
own
your
pee?
pee? Yeah.
I know. I don't think that
What kind
happened.
of parties
That's-
y'all go to in Miami?
I'm so disgusted by pee that I don't think I would even in a drunken state ever do that. That just sounds like not me at all. But if Ruben has any documentary evidence, I would love to see it. But at this one party, there was this guy who made this drink called the Tick. It was the first time I ever had a drink like this. It was like a drink that had like 7 types of alcohol in it. And it tasted really good. It tasted just like fruit punch, so I had no idea. So I drank them like they were fruit punch, right? And it was I completely just went into another universe. And actually,
Shrooms. It was shrooms, wasn't it?
there was
He
it was
blacked
just
out, he peed
it was
in a cup.
agave. It was mostly agave tequila and lots of other things. There was a lot going on
And
that
then
night.
you turned around and Bill Cosby was there, and you're like, "Oh shit!"
But I'm told that I was standing on a table at this house party. I'm apologies to the person who was throwing the house party. He's a good friend of mine, but I was standing on their like living room table, and I was like dancing, and then when people would walk in, I would say weird things, and two weird things that I said. One was, I don't want to be. Someone said, "Who are you, Superman?" And I said, "I don't want to be Superman. I want to do Superman." That was the one thing that I said in that state. The other thing was, someone asked me if I was drunk, and I said, "I have drank the water of life," and something like that, which is a Dune reference. And then I just started barfing. Like,
Well, that is kind of what happens when you do that
Drink
water
the
life
it's
ceremony.
true.
The Reverend Mother initiate drinks the poison that comes from a drowned baby worm.
Yep.
You drink like the bile of that worm, which is poisonous. But if you're capable of becoming a Reverend Mother, you have such control over your own body that you can create a chemical catalyst that converts the poison into something that you can actually drink, and then regurgitate the catalyst back into the water of life, and then pass it around the rest of the Fremen siege, and everyone drinks some, and then everyone starts like tripping balls, and you have a big spice orgy.
It's basically an ayahuasca
So
ceremony.
once again, what PJ says correct. Dune is not going to make much money. Guaranteed.
No, but seriously, Ruben, do you think it will make its money back?
I think
It'll make its money back because Blade Runner made its money back, but it won't. Blade
But
Runner made
when
decent
people
money
when people
by-
think a movie makes its money back, they think it's like the budget, but they have to take into account like the massive marketing costs as well.
No,
right?
I mean, I think it'll probably break even, but like it's not gonna be. I don't know what their thinking is, and Denis Villeneuve must be fucking amazing in a pitch meeting because he's like Stanley Kubrick. They used to give Stanley Kubrick blank checks. Stanley Kubrick movies never made money. They were all highbrow, crazy, But yet he somehow
those were all
would
with
get
Warner
blank checks
Brothers.
From Warner Brothers. Yeah, funny enough, like Warner Brothers has. This,
And they also
Nolan
love
used
Christopher
to-
Nolan, or they
Yeah,
did
but
until
Nolan
very recently.
Makes money, though. But
Yeah,
Nolan makes money.
Well, well, Tenet
Denis
didn't,
does
but
not.
well, one of the things though is that I haven't heard a lot of people mention this. I don't know if people have caught on to this, but the movie's actually coming out overseas like 6 weeks before it's coming out here. We're not getting it until
What?
October
That's not
22nd.
good. That's not
Excuse
good.
me? That's
Is it going-
interesting.
Is it going out in Japan? I mean, in China?
It's
gonna
gonna
be a movie
be
in
in China, and it's gonna be in Europe, and it's gonna be in the UK before it comes out here.
That's not good.
Well,
China's a big market,
I
baby.
think the reason they want the China money. They want this to do well in China, but also
Father, you
it's
just
gonna
call
be-
it the China money.
Well, the Chinese market, yeah.
It's huge.
it's also
It's
gonna
huge, and
be
they're hungrier for movies like this.
it's gonna be so easy to pirate this movie after it comes out in the United States because of the HBO Max release. Any moron with a video capture card is going to be able to upload a 4K torrent of it.
Father, someone
it
from
comes
the
out.
someone from the text message audience is asking, requesting that you check your facts because they think that every one of Stanley Kubrick's movies did make money except for 2001. So, or no, that was Ruben maybe who said Ruben. You said Stanley Kubrick's movies didn't make money,
Stanley
right?
Kubrick movies, I'm sure they broke even. But
No,
he
they
never
made money,
He never made a movie that was.
and I
his
believe
biggest-
it. I feel like
his
wasn't The
biggest
Shining
money-making
huge?
Movie I believe was
The
Full Metal
Shining?
Jacket,
Oh, Full Metal Jacket. Interesting.
which made like $50 million.
Yeah, the Shining.
They probably cost
a
like
lot of critics
100,000
didn't
to
like
make
it.
or something. What's that?
The Shining wasn't a popular movie when it came out.
Really?
Yeah,
find
it was
that so
like
hard
it
to
was more
believe.
like a cult classic for a while, and then it eventually got really popular. Like
I-
go
I-
read
I-
like reviews of The Shining from when it came out. People, a lot of critics were
Well,
really
Steven
divided on it.
Spielberg. Stephen King. I don't think liked it.
Yeah, he hated it.
He hated it. Yeah.
Yeah.
So did every author who ever had a book. So did Arthur C. Clarke hated 2001. So did the guy who wrote A Clockwork Orange. But what a lot of people don't understand is like it's not enough for a movie to make its budget back and then some. That's not really why the people who pay for movies pay for movies. People pay for movies because they want it to bring back like 3 or 4 times what they put into it. So
Yeah.
like if a movie has
Well, also
a
what
100
PJ is saying. Because, like, take The Force Awakens, for instance. The Force Awakens cost 220 something million to produce it, plus another 250 million something to market it. So it's not making even three. You not even have to make 3 times the budget. You have to make 3 times the budget and the marketing costs. So if Force Awakens doesn't make $1 billion, it's actually a failure.
Right.
Even though on the surface you say, oh shit, it made $1 billion. It's like, oh damn, that made a lot of money. But in reality, it is a lot of money and it does make back its money. But that's the freaky shit about movies nowadays, that they spend so much money to market them that they have to make a ridiculous amount, and so to do that they dumb it down, they appeal to other markets. Like, they're not really, it becomes more of a product than an actual, which is again a miracle that Denis Villeneuve somehow gets these budgets to make these movies, because
I think the fact that they've already established this is part 1, I think no matter what, they know it's going to make some money. It could be a surprise. It could be like the biggest movie of the year. Who knows? It might be like one of these runaway hits. But if it's not and it doesn't, they're still going to make the second part, knowing that it will be a theater exclusive. And hopefully by the time the second part rolls around, so many people, whatever way they choose to have watched it, saw the first one, probably got hooked. You know what I mean? Like, people who weren't, like, I'm not a Dune person, but this movie could change my mind and I could be like, damn, I'm going to see the second one for sure next time. You know what I mean?
Sir Patrick Stewart was in the David Lynch Dune movie. That is one of the reasons that I love that movie. But also Kyle MacLachlan is in. So, like, if you don't, I feel like them as performers were amazing in that film. And then of course you have Sting.
It was absolutely terrible in the
other
movie.
big thing too, the difference too, is that, like, normally I would say, okay, they give Denis this money because he's making something like Blade Runner, which will then sell toys, but Blade Runner doesn't really sell toys. Neither does Arrival, neither does Dune. So there's no real merchandise angle to it either. So it's kind of weird, but again, some directors are just magical at.
And sometimes studios want to invest in a legacy of like great films made by great filmmakers.
That too. And they'll play the long game, like with Blade Runner, for instance. Blade Runner didn't make a whole lot of money in the moment, but over the last 40 years, it's just kept making money.
I know I look back on that, like, with the way people viewed that movie, it's like it wasn't that big. The critics weren't like in love with it. Some people had the view that I had when I watched it, that it's like a little too like up its own ass and melodramatic, and like the whole thing with Rutger Hauer that everybody like loves it, like, oh, it's so poetic at the end, and I'm like, that is cringy to me, right?
What? Blade Runner visually
so the original Blade Runner, it's one of those movies, that classics that I don't like, but I do like the sequel. So
Blade Runner 2049 is better than the original Blade Runner.
I think so, yes. But a lot of people would disagree.
I want to combine both of them into one. Like, that's the things that I liked most about each one, and combine them into like one ultimate Blade Runner movie. But I always felt the first was a little overrated. But I love that ending though. I think that ending is beautiful. There's the rest of the movie that I think is a little overrated.
No, I mean,
we are lingering way too long on this. I don't know what's going on.
What the hell is that?
That's Dune. That's Faye Ruata.
Who I do not believe will be in the Dune movie coming out this year. But if you want to see this character in the sequel, then go see this. If you can,
bottle.
if you can buy a movie ticket for it, it needs to have as big of a box office as possible.
Now, there is a version of Dune that a lot of people really love, which was up until probably like the most faithful, and that was the Sci-Fi Channel Dune, right? Like the miniseries that was like really good.
It had a slightly bigger budget than a Babylon 5 episode.
It did. It's true.
I'm not a huge Dune person, but I feel like, from what I understand of the Dune story over all these years, that it would work better as like a Game of Thrones level quality TV show.
Ruben, I've been saying that for like 10 years. I've been saying that they should do like Dune at like before they were even talking about doing this new movie with Warner Brothers. I was saying that they needed to bring Dune back as an HBO TV show.
Yeah, when I heard they were making this
Well,
movie,
they're doing a version now.
I thought, well, they should just make a fucking TV show because it just the story seems like the kind of
It
story
would work
needs
much
that-
better.
It needs that kind of time.
Warner Brothers is
work-
doing that thing now where they're making like HBO or HBO Max spin-offs of big movies that are coming out, like Dune, the Gotham series. There's no word yet on if the HBO Max Batgirl movie is actually Jeffrey Wright's daughter.
Oh.
You know, like from the I don't know if that's connected or not, but I know the Gotham TV series, which is basically another version of the Fox's Gotham, but more with like more mature stuff,
But better, yeah.
but better. Yeah,
What
hopefully.
fascinates
the
me too about the
soundtrack-
box office thing with these movies nowadays too is particularly this whole double release thing where it's like Dune's gonna make even less money because you can also watch it on HBO Max. It's just
That's what's going to kill it.
right, not kill it, but I mean, well, yeah, I guess so because if let's say it's as successful as Blade Runner 2049, but now you have the HBO Max component, I mean, it is gonna kill it. Like, it's
Look at the
Blade Runner 2049 wasn't a huge runaway box office smash.
but
You
look
know?
at the evidence so far in terms of the two big summer movies that have already come out, which is okay, Fast 9 is a different thing because that was an exclusive theater. That was a smart move. But in terms of things that were released on video the same day, like Black Widow and Space Jam 2, Black Widow did really well the first week, and then it dropped off like terribly. It like just went the fuck away in terms of box office dollars, and it was reported that it was like the most pirated movie in the world, obviously. And then Space Jam 2 comes out, and that's like it does well in its first weekend, and now that's doing shit all now until like whatever else comes out. But it's only the movies that are theater exclusives now that have any chance.
There is one
Oh,
exception though.
another interesting thing with the Black Widow thing too that I was reading
What's the
was that Black Widow made $80 million in the theater in its first week or so, or first 2 weeks. I forget the time period. And in that same time period, it made $60 million on Disney Plus.
And they get to keep every
Exactly.
dime of that 60 million.
All
yeah.
100% stays with Disney. The 80 million, Disney loses about 45% of that.
But they still suffer from the fact that high quality torrents will then be available right away.
You know, so it's interesting that $30 on Disney Plus experiment seems to be actually working in Disney's favor.
No, yes, it works, and it works against them at the same time because the fall off. Because once people
Yeah.
start realizing or catching on to the fact, oh well, I can just get this online or something like that. If that's what they do, that's a significant factor. And if it's a theater exclusive like Fast 9, where they're like, oh, I don't want to download or I don't want to torrent a cam version of it, so I'll either wait to rent it when it's on premium VOD or actually go see it in the theater, and that actually benefits. They're doing it with Jungle Cruise. Premier access for Jungle Cruise is going to do terribly. The movie's going to flop. And I think they're going to stop then. I don't think Shang-Chi or Eternals, we're going to get to a point now where they're just going to be theater exclusives.
HBO's not doing this next year. They've already said
They regret doing it with Dune. Like, I don't know why they can't backtrack on that. Like, they
Well-
have the power to, but they just, we made a promise, so we can't piss off our subscribers.
I was saying there is one exception though, there is one movie that really made it work big in the box office and on streaming with a simultaneous release, and that was the Godzilla versus Kong movie. It still did really good in theaters, even though it was on HBO Max, and I think that was just because a lot of people thought, "Oh, I need to go see that movie on the big screen because it's
Yeah.
a giant
I forgot
monkey and a
about that
giant lizard."
Yeah.
So that's why I'm stressing people, like if you thought you needed to see that on the big screen, I think this movie also benefits from that type of viewing experience.
I looked really hard. There are no pictures of James McAvoy in a shirt from his appearance in the Sci-Fi Channel sequel series, Children of Dune.
Um,
That's fair. I think he is shirtless for like 90% of that
Parts of the
movie.
movie, yeah.
Godzilla vs. Kong cost between 155 and 200 million to make, and it made 463 million worldwide, which is good for pandemic era. It was definitely a sign that things were getting back to normal, but it's still like I mean, we're not. I just looking back at 2019 and 18, like just a few years ago, how much money these fucking movies would make. Like, how many people would just go to these movies in droves. Even Rise of Skywalker, which a lot of people just lambasted and said, "Don't go see it," and blah blah blah. It didn't make the money it should have, but it still made over $1 billion. So like, which people were for the longest time were like, "It's not going to get to $1 billion. It's the death of the franchise." And that was that was the last kind of big movie I remember ever making anything.
My text message audience has gotten a little bit feisty. They say, can't understand in any way preferring the garbage Sci-Fi Channel Dune to Lynch's. I will just say...
I can't remember I watched it years ago.
You saw the Sci-Fi Channel?
I mean, it was like... I don't know. Like, some people are just dumb and they need high budget special effects and stuff, or it can't entertain them. But I mean, if you've ever like a stage play or something, you can kind of think about it like that. What if it was just done as a stage play? It's like that level of low budget. But it is if you're a fan of the book, if you read the book and you really like the book and you want to see a faithful adaptation, then it is just much closer to that vision.
And I have to say, I don't agree. I don't agree that the
movie's awful.
Yeah, and
so
oh wow, I didn't know you didn't like the David. Ruben, I didn't know you didn't like the David Lynch
movie. Come on, man.
You never saw the 9-hour version of the David Lynch movie?
Yeah, I've seen every version. I've seen it multiple times. This is terrible.
I'm so wow.
I've been saying it for years.
Wow, I'm so
shocked. I've been saying it for years. I'm like, it's boring.
This is so shocking
it's not worth
to me.
watching.
Real quick about the Dune miniseries, what I will say is, Father, it's not low. It actually didn't feel low budget to me at the time. I was pretty impressed with what they were.
That fucking background, that curtain with some clouds painted on it that they hang up over their little desert set. You're telling me that never felt low budget to you? At the time that it came out, I remember watching it.
Budget.
I remember watching it on the Sci-Fi Channel, thinking man, there's Star Trek Voyager episodes that look 10 times better than this on right now, over on UPN.
I felt like it was pass. I didn't think it was great, but I thought it was passable. But I will say that yes, from I think I'd come off a fresh reading of the first 3 books, or something, and I was like, wow, this is the most in spirit the most faithful adaptation of Dune so far, even over the Lynchian version, which I still place the Lynch version as of now. It's my favorite. So,
and the Sci-Fi Channel version was successful. The 2 highest rated things that Sci-Fi Channel ever aired was the Dune miniseries and the Children of Dune miniseries until Battlestar Galactica came out.
Yeah,
and the only reason why they didn't continue, because they had an actor, James McAvoy could have done Leto the Second. They could have gone into God Emperor. And that was the plan. That was always the plan. The reason why they didn't is because the owners of Sci-Fi Channel changed, and they didn't want to keep making that type of original content. They want to put wrestling and shit like that on.
Is that when it became Sci-Fi with Wise?
Yeah.
Oh, Sci-Fi.
I remember watching the one with William Hurt back, and Susan Sarandon, I believe. I think I watched both of them.
That's the one, yeah.
Both miniseries. One came out a year later or 2 years later or something. But I remember watching it on the Space Channel, being interested because it looked sleek and expensive, and it looked like it, to me, for television, it had a big budget. There was something about the late 90s and the early 2000s where TV movies were getting weirdly big budgets for TV movies at the time. 2 examples was Alice in Wonderland with Martin Short, which was a very special effects heavy TV movie, and there was another one with Ted Danson called Gulliver's Travels.
That's right.
Which had
both of those.
Which had extensive special effects and had a huge budget. And I was always attracted, and I remember watching Dune, the miniseries, because I just liked anything that sci-fi and it looked expensive. So like
Yeah.
it didn't look cheap to me at the time.
In Children
Looking
of Dune
back
had a
on it
bigger
now-
budget.
Looking back at it now, it looks not so great. But yeah,
Plus, I mean, not only do they have James McAvoy in Dune, but do you remember who plays the Reverend Mother Fathery in the Sci-Fi Channel Dune?
Louise Fletcher.
No, a great Star Trek actor though. We're getting close. A villain, also a Star Trek villain.
Alice Krieg played.
Krieg.
She
Yes.
played Jessica in one of them, right?
Right, who becomes the Reverend Mother, right?
Yeah, she was Jessica in the second one because the actress from the first one was pregnant and unavailable.
By the
So
way,
to
if
get
you
Alice
guys think the Borg Queen is hot, like Alice Krieg just by herself is a hot person in my opinion. I think she's beautiful.
She's very sensual. Yes.
Sensual, yes, that's a great way to
her
describe
her
her.
best role is Sleepwalkers. No, I'm joking.
And I don't want to just heap praise on the sci-fi stuff because I think there's some stuff that's not good in those. But
Yeah.
like I think like the Paul actor, he was like way too old, and yeah, it's hard to play like a moody teenager when you look like you're 25.
Right,
and
he did. That by the way, that actor also was in.
he's in Enterprise.
Yeah, he's in Enterprise. He plays one of the
Augments.
con
Yeah.
augments, and he's also isn't he in was there a TV series for am I imagining I'm probably imagining this. I don't know why I think of him as the same person. Was he in was there a TV series for what was the Paul Verhoeven movie with the aliens Clandactu? Never mind. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Starship
Troopers.
Starship Troopers.
Was he somehow involved in
Clandatu.
Starship Troopers? Yeah, Clandatu. That was thinking. Was the actor who plays Paul somehow in? Am I imagining that? Was he also in Starship Troopers?
I don't know.
No. Okay, well, whatever.
But even though like I think he's not a very good Paul in Dune, he's a really good Paul in the Dune Messiah stuff, which was the second book, but they include that in the Children of Dune miniseries.
Right.
Because that's supposed to be like a Paul who's like 10 years older. It takes place like 10 years after the first book, and he was much more appropriate for the role in that depiction than in the first. And there's Ilea in the background. She was hot. I remember having like a big crush on her.
I just remember thinking she was a hot mess in those in those movies.
She's a very tragic character in the books.
She is, yeah, it's true.
It's very unfortunate.
By the way, okay, I've gone to IMDb because now I have to. It's Alec Newman who plays Paul
that's
Atreides.
Paul.
His
Yeah.
filmography.
Boatwreck says you're thinking of Casper Van Dien.
Van Dien. Oh, they kind of look similar to me. Sorry about that, Casper and Paul and Alec.
You know what? Speaking of people named Paul, I just saw like some survey where they're like interviewing like elementary kids, and they thought that the name Paul sounded weird, but the name Jaden sounded normal and common. Isn't that
Ooh.
weird?
That's so strange because Paul is like a very popular name.
I know. Like I know so many dudes named Paul, and I don't know hardly anyone named Jaden.
I don't know anyone in person named Jaden, but of course there's Jaden Smith.
James.
By the way, are any of you guys fans of Lil Nas X?
Gonna take my horse to the old town road. Gonna ride till I can't no more. That's actually like a really terrible song.
Nike.
But there is a version of that song, a cover that Trek on the Tube did. That
Yeah,
says,
we've played it on here. We've played it on.
Gonna
Starfleet
take
Way
my
After Dark.
wharf to the hollow deck. And
Remember,
we're
I was
gonna-
like dancing to it.
Yeah, it's true. But Lil Nas X dropped one of the most amazing and craziest music videos I've ever seen in my whole entire life today.
A new one?
Yeah. A new
Oh, are you gonna
No.
show it?
No, you can't. I cannot show it. I'll get for sure. The channel will be struck down.
Is it on YouTube?
It's on YouTube
Strike
though.
me
It's on,
down
Why
with
can't you
all
show
your
it?
algorithms. And watch your
I-
channel be demonetized.
No one here's seen the Little Nas X video at all. I'll
No.
show. Let me see if I can show
No,
it.
I
A
don't-
Well, are you
screen
talking
cap.
about the one with the devil or like a new one?
No, the brand new, it dropped
Oh,
today
no, I haven't
also.
watched
Today was an epic day. We had Star
I
Trek
did-
panels, we had Comicon we had Little Nas X, we had like what else happened today? There's a lot of stuff happening.
He-Man.
He-Man. I know it's called Masters of the Universe.
He-Man.
Universe.
By the way,
He-Man and super expensive voice acting cast, so they couldn't afford good animation.
I don't think he's listening anymore, but another
Don't show anything from that. He's a big deal. You'll get copyright struck real quick.
PJ told you not to do it.
Yeah, I trust PJ. But before we go to Little Nas X, I was just gonna say, well, he
Lil Nas X.
is that the video you have it? You're playing. PJ's watching it. PJ, be careful. Parental advisory. Just FYI, it's like
We're approaching the 3-hour mark.
Actually, I think he's a pretty good performer. He has like
He's such a good
he has another
performer,
video.
too.
It's like a really sad song. You know what I'm talking about?
which song?
The sad one, where it's like I'm a lonely kid in high school or something.
That one, yes,
That's
yeah,
not
that's
too
true.
specific.
I am not a huge like I like Run DMC. Like I don't like most modern rap, but Little Nas X is awesome. He's a excellent hip hop.
Man,
rapper.
there are so many better rappers.
Well, I just also like his theatrics. I think he's like the
He's
He's
considered
like-
a rapper? I thought he was just like a
pop star.
artist.
Do you think
yeah,
he's-
singer.
Just this,
Mm.
wow,
It's like Old
Ruben's
Town
rejecting
Road.
him. It's not
No,
rap.
I mean, I've
It's
never
just like
heard- every
country.
song
Yeah,
I've
it's
heard
true.
from him doesn't have rap. Like
Interesting. That's a good
Old
point.
Town Road
Or
doesn't
hip
have
hop.
rapping.
Can't be hip hop either, right?
Right.
Little Nas X is just a great performer. I think. I
So
love his
how?
stuff,
What about
yeah.
like
he's like
what
a
about like
pop
Wu-Tang Clan or Busta Rhymes? or
It took
anyone
me a
like
long
that?
time to appreciate Wu-Tang, but I kind of like Wu-Tang. Busta Rhymes, I'm not sure if I'm familiar with Busta Rhymes' work. Primarily, like my interest in rap is like mostly like the era before Tupac.
What about
So
LL
is that
Cool J?
Ghost? Is that LL Cool J, Luke Skywalker, Ghostface Killa? I think I might
Okay,
know that.
I'm down with him.
Who else would I know? Who else rap? Blondie raps, right? Isn't that the first rap ever? It's did Blondie.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Oh my gosh, that's great. Okay, sorry. I thought Blondie did the first rap ever, but I might be mistaken. Sorry.
I think you are. I don't think that's right at all.
Are you sure in that
rappers
song?
like Sugar Hill Gang, hip hop,
Hippity hop. Oh, that's not Blondie.
That's
Blondie.
no, that's the first. That's considered
There
the
you go.
first.
My cousins are all mad at me. And by the way, I have a cousin who is a rapper, a Punjabi rapper. We played him on this show as well. So shout out to Bohemia. But yeah, Little Nas X's newest video. PJ, have you gone through? Have you finished watching it? Yeah, he's watching it right now. He's like,
Okay, when we end
okay.
the stream, when we
We're
end
gonna
the
watch it
stream,
together?
I want to watch it with y'all. Yeah.
Yeah.
You should
I'm not
Yeah.
watching this by myself.
All right, should we
I'll play
say
that right now.
we're at 3 hours?
I'm not.
I feel
I'm not
accomplished.
only. Listen,
Why don't we
listen.
say goodnight already? And
Do you
watch
want my
the damn
fucking
video?
opinion on this or not?
Yeah, I do.
Yes, yes.
I want to hear it. I want to hear it on air, and then we'll end the show.
Because I'm getting serious here. Okay, I just
Alright,
watched that freaking thing. Right. And not only am I no longer master of my domain, I'm like full on gay right now.
Wow.
I did not expect to be turned so quick.
Wow.
No, I'm serious. No, I'm joking, but like
bit by a vampire.
it is. You know what he's like. You know when Lady Gaga came along, and
Yes,
people were like,
I
"Oh
was
my
just-
god!"
I was
like
just gonna say-
she's outrageous and all that. He's
Yeah.
he's the new Madonna, Lady Gaga type
He
of
is, it's
figure
extraordinary.
that just like does not give a fuck. He's like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna have these this ensemble of naked men with their junk flapping around in the shower, dancing in a music video, and I don't give a fuck. He says. Even the blurring, I'm pretty sure that these guys are actually naked because some shit's swinging around, dude. There's dick swinging everywhere in this video. he's grabbing dick and everything. Like he's literally grabbing it, grabbing on penises in the video.
Oh my god, this is the best thing that's ever happened on my
It's
show.
it's daring. It's so modern. You know what I mean? Like it's such a representation of today's society. Like, you know, the progressive kind of like, we'll just fucking, we don't give a fuck. Like any kind of like bigotry or attitudes about like gay culture. He's like, fuck you. I'm gonna shove it down your throat in a figurative and literal way.
It's true. Cheers, little Nas X. Cheers. I love your work. All right, so everyone promote what they get. So tomorrow we're doing TOS, Piece of the Action, and I'm really excited about that episode. Anyone in this group want to come along, you're welcome. And just remind me to send you the link because I'm so terrible. I didn't send Ruben the freaking link, but please don't be shy. We just had on Text Trek tonight. We discussed the panels and the trailers, the teasers. Sorry for Lower Decks and wow, I'm really like. Struggling here, yeah, I'm struggling with this for Lower Decks and Prodigy. PJ and I also did a reaction like right away, right after the panels, and I thought that was fun. Wasn't our reaction fun?
Is there an uncensored version of this video somewhere?
I was wondering the same exact. There has to be a version without the blurs, and I definitely want to see it because I feel like
I can't wait to see Father's reaction.
I feel like everything will be aligned. Like they're all gonna be synchronized somehow. Like when it's uncensored, it's gonna be epic. It's gonna be very cool. So yeah, check that out. Marcelo, you can find him on Balloonhead on YouTube, Balloonhead Media, right?
No, Balloonhead Productions. But
Productions. Oh, I was so close. On YouTube, and you can find him on The Red Wall, which is his personal podcast. And then I forget your J.J. Abrams podcast called.
Well, yeah, my personal podcast is called The Red Wall Podcast, and then my J.J. Abrams podcast is called Radio 815.
Radio 815. Thank you. I'll get it next time, I promise.
That's okay.
So go check that out. And then you can find Ruben at ruben-rights.com. And everyone, just have fun. Go watch the Little Nas X video. This was a fun time. We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.